You're going to word vomit?
All over the place. It's one of these things that I do sometimes.
Word vomit?
Yep.
So that's how we'll start.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah, right. It's like I feel like a politician.
I know, right? So, funny thing.
Hey, while you do that, you might hand me another stack of cards. I only got 3 for some reason.
Here, use this one. I like this one.
Yeah, use this one.
particular
Whatever
one.
it is, that's the one you're going to get.
Oh, so now I'm going to have
That's
two-
the question.
two
Hello
about
there,
the
Darth
same
Baka.
topic. Okay.
So
Okay, it's gotta happen.
I gotta get something off my chest. Not butthurt, by the way. Yeah, definitely. But I wanted to talk about it because
Put it over there.
I find it funny. I find it very funny, and
You want to know what really grinds my gears?
yeah, you know what really grinds my gears?
A little bit funny.
And I wanted to talk about it because I find it weird in the gaming community. Maybe it happens in other communities, but I haven't seen it
Not as extreme.
in other communities. So let me give you an example. I bowled. I know, surprising, right?
That's much a
Story
bowl.
time. I bowled for 8 years. And 8 years, I know, crazy, right? And I was okay. I had like a 202 average when I was in my prime. I don't anymore. I throw like a 135 now, so I'm not very
Warriors
good.
Prime.
Yeah, that was back a long time ago. But I have friends that still bowl. Brady, a friend of mine, Brady, him and his daughter still are on a league. But we talk all the time. And the social media platform we talk on is Facebook. That's the social media platform we still chat on all the time. And he talks about his daughter's games and his games, and I still talk. Well, the bowling alley that we go to is still the same bowling alley, and it's a crappy bowling alley. And so he's always like on there, like, like, what's wrong with this place? And I'm like, because what they did was they got rid of a couple of the pool tables and that we love. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
I guess some nights you can't bowl without having a little bit of pool on top of it.
I'm just like, listen, they were that way 20 years ago. Why you complaining? And you know what his response was? You don't have an opinion. You haven't bowled for 20 years. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a baby. He's not a baby. He doesn't act like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes fans. I'm just kidding.
Well, I was on
But
a
no, for
bowling
real.
league and a billiards league, and would talk to those people. And yeah, if I would tell somebody, like, give them a pointer on a shot or whatever, they wouldn't stop me. Like, hold on a second, dude, you don't play in leagues anymore. You can't have.
I know. No, he was like, yeah, you're right. Never mind. I'm a man. You're right. They're
Yeah.
still the same stupid bowling league that they've always
You're
been.
right. I need to draw English on that. It didn't need to have follow.
Yeah, but no, he was like, yeah, you're right. They're still the same stupid, company that they were 20 years ago. I should know better than even to complain because they haven't changed in 20 years. But
Don't go with changing.
I know. So this week, Cubs, who I consider actually a good friend, Cubs fan Han, was on Twitter, which is not uncommon. He loves Twitter like I do. I actually
You're a
enjoy.
Cubs fan. You can't be all that bad.
Yeah, you can't be bad if you like Cubs.
Suffrage, man. Suffrage. 108 years.
Yeah, and he's doing very well in the game as a YouTuber, and again, we've hung out, we've socialized, we've I guess if you want to call it partied, we've partied together, but not like in a bad way, just
Not
in
like
a fun
Neil
way.
Diamond or anything.
Yeah. And anyway, he went to Twitter and he said, like, what's going on? What's going on with this whole, like, road ahead blog, blah, 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 blah. And I just simply replied, dude, it's CG. Why are you, like, surprised? That was my simple response.
They have
Now-
set a very impressive track record that you can follow easily. It's not hard.
Now, a couple of things. One, it's America. I have a right to an opinion. So it's Twitter too. So
I'm sorry that opinion offends me. You're
I
not
know.
allowed to have it anymore.
So, but anyway, so apparently there's like 4 people that now unfollowed me because apparently I can't have an opinion, and that's okay. Unfollow me, by the way, if you're offended by this. Go to Twitter right now and hit unfollow, please.
I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
But I was actually kind of surprised that they were offended because I was like, wait, I'm right. Like
Yeah.
literally 99% of Star Wars Galaxy Heroes players know I'm right. The other 1% lie to themselves. So Capital Games, it's not
And
a,
they
it's
go
not
on the
a
forums
secret.
and they get butthurt.
Yeah, it's not a secret. Capital Games has been douchebags since the beginning. I was just calling it out, like, Cubs, why are you? I was just saying, like, why are you even on Twitter, like, complaining about Capital Games? We all know that this is Capital
I'm
Games.
sorry, Warrior. You don't fly in the sky anymore. You're not allowed to
Maybe
say
he's
it's blue.
just-
But that
you
was-
can't have an opinion.
But that was the weird thing. They all, like, a couple of people, like 2 or 3 people jumped me and they were like, you don't play the game anymore. You don't have the right to an opinion. Get out of here. And it was like, wait. Stop. There's no place in my life that I've ever been told you're no longer a participant of this thing, so you no longer get an opinion. Name something where that's the case. I was a cop for years. I have a lot of cop friends. We had a department. We still have that department. It exists. It's still a department. And I still talk to those friends all the time on social media platforms. One's LinkedIn, Facebook, some other media platforms. We still talk in person even and on those social media platforms. And never once have they said, hey, man, you can't talk about the police department like that. You don't work there anymore. You don't get an opinion.
Well, I'll tell you, if that's the case, you just null and voided a whole profession. Because when it comes to professional sports, if you can't play well, if you've never played before, or you've never played good in your entire career, or you just want to retire, then you commentate.
I mean, it's called being a fan, and you can be a fan of something and not be good at it. I mean...
Well, my other thing is like, so the whole entire sports industry, they retire and then they become...
A sports commentator.
A sports commentator. Yeah. So I played for 4 years and was literally the number 3 for numbers, if you want to say it, the 3rd highest. And at the very beginning, I was the 2nd highest YouTuber for that. And I can't have an opinion after I retire. I just find that weird.
The logic does not stand.
Anyway, I found that weird that I can't have an opinion. And the weirdest thing was Cubs and I, we go back and forth, we banter. We're rough with each other a little bit. I mean, but you and I are rough with each other. Sometimes we ruffle each other's feathers, but I don't think, or at least I hope, that I don't like that Cubs isn't like, that Warriors pissed me off. That's it. We're no longer friends. I don't think I've done that with him.
Perhaps
I think he's mature enough that wouldn't be the case. And I definitely know that he's never offended me.
I think he's probably just upset that there's no baseball season.
Yeah, I think he was just griping.
I'm upset about that too.
I think he was just griping and wanted people to gripe with him. And that's cool. I was just calling an apple, like, dude, your gripe's a gripe. That's why I quit, 6 months ago. I get it. Like, just know that Capital Games isn't going to change. Your gripe's kind of a moot point. That was it. And then, of course, a bunch of people...
You're not allowed to have the gripe. Obviously, we can gripe about them all day long because we know that. But it's just one of those things where you want to be like, okay, why are you acting like this is new? Why are you acting like this is like, oh, look what they're doing now?
Where's the road ahead? What?
Well,
dude, a year ago, go back. Mm-hmm. Everybody was saying, where's the road ahead in quarter 2 of last year, quarter 3 of last year, quarter 4 of last year, quarter 1 of this year, quarter 2. This isn't
Capital Games. Don't look at that. Don't pay attention. Here's a bunch of pseudo scoundrel bounty hunters. There. Enjoy those. Marquee characters. Go away.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just one of those things where I feel like I still care for the community. This is why I still answer questions. This is why I'm still on Twitter. I still love the game. The game itself is absolutely amazing. The community is absolutely amazing. The game developers, the actual line level developers are absolutely amazing. The management team and EA can go suck an egg. I mean, seriously.
They are the swamp and someone needs to pull the plug.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's see. Scottzilla says CG must be easy to work for. Do they take naps? Yeah, what's up?
All right.
What's up? Warrior, you're right. CG's gone radio silent us. I know this. I'm in the community still. You still play. I've got my brother that plays, a friend, Jared plays, Dilstradamus still plays. So anyway, I think that's hilarious. Phil McCracken says, ooh, spicy. Darth Mike says, if you're no longer a judge, your opinion is a lot less. Well, that's the thing. I am still a judge. I get to be a judge for the rest of my life. Nobody dethrones me. I dethrone myself. I get to decide when I no longer want to have an opinion about a topic. Because we get to have opinions for topics for the rest of our lives. You guys get to have your opinion for the rest of your life. I get to have my opinion for the rest of my life.
Unfortunately, we can poke a hole in that logic. Because if that was the case, then Obama's no longer allowed to speak on presidential matters, politics in general.
Exactly. We could say ex-presidents no longer get to have an opinion on presidencies. I mean, that's silly logic. Or, I could say you no longer have an opinion on your previous affairs. So, like, if you had a job that you no longer work, you no longer can talk about previous jobs you've had. That's just silly logic. Yep. Of course, you can have opinions on your previous experience. That's just silly logic.
I no longer have opinions on oil change intervals because I no longer am a manager of a Jiffy Lube.
And then Capital Games is the worst community management ever. I agree with that. The last evidence was May 4th when they didn't really celebrate anything. Gifts sucked. That's too bad. I was hoping that they would have given you guys something good for May 4th.
They acknowledged it, and they think that's enough.
But you know what? This is the thing. I'm following the community still. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, I don't say anything because I know this is the perception of the community because gaming communities are fickle as hell. And they're like, hey, you can't have an opinion. And I know this, but there's no other community in the world I've met that's like this. But they do this. So I do try to like kind of omit myself. But I noticed on Mother's Day, Marvel Strike Force had like all this, you know, they were giving away free stuff, like 4 shards of every female character. And they were giving away, you know, those little like cycle, like whatever the heck those power cores are. And they were giving away that stuff. And then they had like posts like Mother's Day's amazing and like kiss your mom and on Twitter. And I was like, and then it's like,
mothers are superheroes.
Yeah. Capital Games can't be
crickets,
bothered.
just crickets.
We're
for stars.
too busy counting our money.
And I was like, they didn't even post on the forums like, hey guys. I mean, come on, dude. These guys
Mother's
make you.
Day. Moving on.
You're $1 billion company. Come on, like I feel for my talking out loud about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is actually empathy towards the community. It's not hatred. It's not anger. It's not angst. It's empathy and sympathy, because I have sympathy because I was in your shoes for 4 years, and empathy now that I'm no longer playing, it's moved from sympathy to empathy. I have empathy for the whole community. I feel bad that they have not learned and are still not learning. I feel bad. It makes me feel sad. So
Why 4?
Yeah, Kyrie MW says Warrior is entitled to his opinion whether he plays or not. That's how I feel. And then if you don't give respect to the most important day of Star Wars, you don't even have respect for the community. Yeah, I give respect. I give respect all the time. I still give a healthy respect, but remember, my respect for the game is different than my respect for Capital Games Management. My respect for Capital Games Management is on a very low thing. And to be honest, if, again, 95%, 99% of all of you guys agree with me, and the other 5%, you're lying to yourself. None of you like Capital Games Management. 100% of you don't like Capital Games Management.
I don't know. You hop on any forum and try to vent for a second about something that's like a very blatant issue with the game, and man, the virtue signaling social justice warriors just pop out of nowhere and just tear you apart in the comments.
That's because they have a couple of individuals who they have there very specifically to shut people down.
Yeah.
And those people,
and they had little people complexes.
they're like, here you go, here's a few crystals,
You can still like
make it
and
happen.
love Star Wars and not like or love Kathleen Kennedy.
And then Matt B says, I was watching that little Twitter thing that happened. Yeah. And then Joey says, Warrior, you need to come back. Your content and in-game stuff was great. I personally don't give a crap about Capital Games. Love your content. I don't care about Capital Games either. I just feel bad that they treat the whole community like that. And that's why I won't come back, because they control the content. That's just difficult, man. I can't principally give money to a company like that. I love the game, though, man.
It's all about the game and how you play it.
How many people do you think
support fascist dictatorships? I'm sorry. I can't go along with it.
I wouldn't go that far. I know those people, but I do think that there's a difference between capitalism and crony capitalism. And boy, they are on the precipice of crony capitalism at the top, man. They really are. Yeah, press up. How many? Darth Skywalker says, how many people do you think actively work on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes? And in that
20.
place, there's probably 35-ish, 40 people working there. And I would say they're divided, and they're not divided evenly. Probably 40, and probably 30 are on the new game, 10 are on the old game. So there's probably 10 to 12 on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, if you're lucky. Matt says, by the way, glad to have you back on this week. Yes, I am sorry, you guys, for last week, but I have to say family comes first. And last week I had an opportunity before I went back to work because, by the way, I did get off a furlough. Yay! Yeah,
back to work.
Yeah, I got off a furlough. Thank you, Lord. So
bills can continue to be paid.
I know I gotta be able to come off a furlough, but I had an opportunity to go visit my sister and all of my nieces and nephews, and so I took it. I ran and I went and did that for a couple of days, and then I went back to work for 5 days. So that was important. So yeah, let's see.
Getting this country back on track.
Let's see. They let us buy crystals for cheaper on May 4th. By the way, I saw what they did on Mother's Day. They put out a bunch of $20 packs. Yeah. That is so rude. That is rude, dudes. That is rude.
Well, they're cheaper than they usually are, but we still want your money.
This is the conversation.
I like money.
What packs that have females only in them do we have? Oh, well, we only have these 4 with like females, and they're $20. I'll just throw them in there. They're female only packs. It'll be Mother's Day. Okay, do it.
Easy enough. Throw something, see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. They really care.
Yeah,
tell.
and then the gift for May 4th, Kyrie says, gift for May 4th wasn't horrible. Anything is not horrible, right? And I agree with that. Anything's better than nothing. And Ball and Thug, thank you for the $2 donation. That was very kind of you. I appreciate that very, very much. And the crowd goes wild for that donation. Thank you so much, Ball and Thug.
It's all for you.
Yeah, it says you can't even whale properly anymore. Remember the extra 25% vaults? That doesn't even happen. That sucks.
When they took relic materials out of the whale store, the Kraken store, I was just like, really? For real, guys? And then they put them back eventually, but I think it was only after enough outcry.
And then Ball and Thug said that he paid for the super chat, but then he forgot to type, so I'm going to read it. He says, I agree with you, Warrior, and he quit the same time as I did, and he did for the exact same reasons. That makes me sad, though, dude, because I didn't want to quit. Ball and Thug didn't want to quit. We want to play the game, but it's hard because it's
my
really
participation
hard
these days is mediocre at best.
Yeah. They made pack with
I managed
women's
to join
for
all the
Mother's Day.
territory wars today, though.
You know what, Darth Skywalker, I saw that. I actually, because like I said, I follow the community, and I saw a screenshot on the Facebook page of the women packs. That's how I knew the 1999 packs got dropped. And I looked at the pack, I clicked on the picture and zoomed in, and I saw it said includes 1 Omega. Now, my question is it 1 Omega piece, or was it 5 pieces to be able to make 1 full Omega, like upgrade 1 full Omega?
Probably
Does
not.
anyone know? Was it just a singular Omega piece?
I didn't buy any of the packs. I wouldn't know. I didn't even look at any of them. I didn't care.
Participation awards.
From what it sounded like, they made it really sound amazing, but I have a feeling it was probably just like a slice, like just 1 Omega piece. That's terrible.
Wait, you mean like enough Omegas?
Just 1 piece? No!
You mean enough Omegas to make a Zeta is what you're talking about?
That's terrible.
1 Omega only.
That is
All right.
terrible, Bass, right?
As I say, let me log on here real quick and see if it still lingers.
It's called Frisbee golf.
Austin Tenacious.
Outside a lot.
Oh my gosh, you guys. That's
No work.
Artisan K looks tan. Yeah.
That's the first time in my life. High five. High five.
Dude, he has been outside like a fish out of water, man. He is outside every day, flopping around, trying to get as much sun as possible. He is sizzling.
Yep. I don't get tan.
You have no idea
this is
how
a
glad he is
miracle.
you said
This is
that.
a Festivus miracle. I never get tan.
So Matt B downloaded the game again, got his Mando characters, wasn't impressed, and deleted it again. I honestly, okay.
Kind of like the Mandalorian.
I gotta admit, I was almost weak, bros. I was almost weak. When Mando came out, I was gonna go into the game, play on both
Just so
accounts,
you can have Mando first.
just so I could get the three.
Screw ever getting any
characters,
Jedi version
then-
of Luke, but by golly, here's your Mandalorian.
Well, there's a lot of really cool stories going on about Mandalorian 2, Season 2. I'm really excited about who they have playing certain characters.
Yeah,
I'm still unsure about Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka.
I don't have a problem with
Still
that.
unsure about that.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I didn't go in. I didn't do it, and I didn't because of principle. I'm just like, you know what? That would just, because everyone's, this is the thing.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen's about to break your arm. You're like, oh, wait a second. So those are the crispy little fluffy ones? Yeah. Nope. It's a principle. Break it.
No. This is what would happen. I would go in, I would get them, and then I would quit again. And so, like, what's the point?
Exactly.
So for me, it would be worthless. And the second thing is there are those like 4 people on Twitter who would say, "You're not principled." you know? So it's like whatever.
You don't play Magic the Gathering anymore. You're not allowed to buy cards.
Exactly. You don't play Magic the Gathering anymore, even though you have like $100,000 worth of cards in your garage / your bedroom. So you can't have an opinion
A
until
shoebox under your bed.
Yeah, and you can't have an opinion until you play another game. So until you pull those cards out of your closet, you can't have an opinion on Magic the Gathering. But I like my Soul Rings.
Yeah.
They're amazing, and I wish I could use more than 1 per deck. And I'm gonna break rules and do 4.
Wait, this house rules?
Yeah. Sunken fallacy is real. That is absolutely true. Sunken fallacy, if people don't know, is basically where you invested so much money into a game that you feel obligated to continue to play. You're just like, and
You feel
I did.
obligated to hop on forums and sit there and defend it against anybody who wants to legitimately vent about an issue.
Well, so sunken fallacy is one of those things where you actually get so invested. I did this actually. You get so invested where you start lying to yourself, and you'll notice a lot of whales do this, and they'll say like, honestly, I'm pretty happy. Honestly, like, it's not that bad. It's not that big a deal. But I talk to a number of these whales privately, and I'm like, are you really happy that you invested? I'm like, how much did you? I talked to one actually, a friend of mine who's gonna be purchasing a bed for me, and I said, are you happy with what you spent on the Ray? And he goes, no. And I said, so do you feel good about it? And he goes, no. And I said,
is this the white, tan, or gray?
Doesn't matter the matter the composition. Doesn't matter the mods. But Kylo is an absolute. He's a dud.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
that's sad.
The Galactic Legends.
Wait, is this?
I mean, PvE, he's amazing. PvE, he's amazing.
Which version of Kylo is it? Crack mask, unmasked,
the newest one.
I don't know. I mean,
the newest version.
The one right before he gets kissed and dies.
The third one.
Oh, the not so Kylo, the more Ben.
Yeah, one Luke Skywalker and 3 freaking Kylo Rens.
What the heck?
Artisan K, which disc golfers do you watch on YouTube? Paul Macbeth is so freaking dominant. He's like Ali
it's hard
and
not
Wilt
to
combined.
watch him, honestly.
Oh, look, it's Macbeth and Wysocki in first and second. Again.
And I mean, it's one of those things like kind of like watching tennis for decades on end. You always have two guys that are dominating the field.
Oh, but man, watch out for Double G.
Yeah, Double G.
Oh, buddy, he's coming.
Double G. Yeah, the announcers are who I watch. Those guys are really into it.
Bassreich was like, dang it, he should have taken my bet because I said they wouldn't bring in the Mando characters for 6 months, and then they brought him out like 3 weeks later.
They were listening. That's why.
They were like, no.
So essentially, you're welcome.
You know why? Because, and this is how I feel. First off, I said if they did, they were going to just marquee it quick. Yep. And I was right. They did marquee it quick. And that's kind of sad because I felt like Mando deserved an actual better event than a marquee.
Oh, yeah.
And two, I think the Galactic Legends were so ill-received, which was rightly so. The whole community was irate. Mm-hmm. That's not me, by the way. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad that I'm saying
utterly
this.
ridiculous to secure any one of those characters.
I think the only redemption for the game, honestly, was to bring Mando into the game. It was like, listen, spoon feed him some marquees quick before everyone quits the game. Because if we do anything else, we're going to lose half our audience. Just give them Mando. You know what I mean? And give it to him in marquee so everyone gets him. Well, I think that was literally their like Hail Mary to like save people.
Yeah. Well, if they were going to fix the game, they'd put a Grandmaster Luke, or they put even a Jedi Knight Luke in there.
You'll get other
they would only save the game. They don't want to do that. No.
Season
they don't want to. They've already set the precedent. So
I don't know what they're.
Ball and Thug found your channel, but he said it took a month to find it. But he finally subscribed today.
Thank you.
You guys are putting out a video a week, so that's cool. By the way, if you want to check that out, let's get started with some questions. So this is the way it works. If you guys are watching live, you get to play actively. You get to put your comments down below. This is super fun. Wait, you don't have to do that. I don't really care about everyone who's here is all I care about. Whoever's here is who is meant to be here.
Well, there's
wait, no,
these people.
Pusher.
Yes, all of them, they get to participate, and then everyone at home. So if you're live, if we read a question, we're going to answer, of course, but then you at home get to answer, of course, and by putting them in the comments, and we're going to read, most of them, if not all
yourself.
of them.
Don't type them in.
Yeah,
just
we are mind readers.
We just want to guess.
Oh, I was saying.
So yeah, COVID, and so we'll read them.
Oh, God.
If you're watching this after the fact, and this is recorded and put on YouTube, you can still participate, write your answers down or memorize them, and then after the fact in the comment section, just type them all down. We love reading after the fact and commenting after the fact.
You do. Oh, no.
You,
I have.
Yeah, I was gonna say you comment. You love it. You love it.
Well, I kind of half watch this later, just to see what.
Yeah. I love it too. So you can participate now or later. That's how it works. We're gonna see who gets to go first. Let's see who goes first. All right. Yeah. Woo.
Odd man out.
Odd man out, and I beat you both. Yeah. So I didn't lose to both of you.
Man.
Yeah.
Somebody's
arrogant. Distinctions.
I mean, I'm gonna have sour grapes here in a minute. Get a little butt hurt.
That's the one that was meant to be. Meant to be. Baby.
Mental B? That's too bad.
Yeah, mental B.
Mental B.
That's a terrible song to get stuck in your head, by the way.
Apparently.
Now everybody out there is going to be like, Warrior sucks because he got that stupid song stuck in my head.
Luckily, I don't know what it is.
All right, you guys, this is a poll the internet. So we asked all the
Poll it where?
interwebs. Yeah, we asked the interwebs, and they answered. Yeah. And boy, they were really in.
Boy, do they have opinions.
Yeah, they were in community. What is worse? being a tall girl, we're talking about like over 6 foot
when
tall.
I'm tall.
Yeah, over 6 foot tall.
Well, when I was a tall girl.
Yeah, and you got to think like a woman because being tall, over 6 foot tall, or a short guy like 5 foot or below.
Well, I'm short guy,
Which
but I'm
do you
not
think
5
is
feet
worse,
tall.
a tall woman or a short guy?
Yeah, being like if you
They
were
both have their
being, so like
disadvantages.
you have to assume you're a woman and you're like really tall, or you have to assume you're a man and you're really short.
Pretend like you're a dwarf man under 5 feet, or you're an over 6 feet, or over 6 foot something woman.
Yeah.
So you're taller than most men, and then you're shorter than most women when you're a guy.
Yeah.
As a short man, I think eventually you'd probably. I mean, look at Peter Dinklage, right, from Game of Thrones. He was able to get married, so no problems there. I don't
Still living a pretty normal life as far as I could tell.
I remember seeing a really tall young woman at the beach one time, and I was just enthralled by like her legs being as tall as me. It's like, what? That's ridiculous, man. It wasn't like, ew. I'm like, ew. And it was more like, God makes some interesting.
Well, I don't know. Seeing as how men have so many more social issues and problems than women, I could only imagine being a short guy is so much worse than that. Yeah.
Oh, Wolverine. I mean, he's 6'3". Oh wait, no, he's not. He's 5'3". Anyway.
See, when you hop on two different genders like that, it's one of the two genders. It's kind of hard to differentiate the two because it's different for women than it is for men. I mean, obviously, you could say is it worse to be shorter or taller? I guess obviously you always want to be taller or whatever, but overall, is it worse to be a? I'm sorry, you have plenty of options, and women still get more options in a lot of ways because they're women.
Now you actually reach the top shelf.
Being a tall woman, I think, is not nearly as bad as being a short man.
Especially in this day and
I would have to give it to the men on this one, and in so many other ways, I'd give it to the women because they have so much more to put up with. But in this scenario, I would say it's definitely worse off to be a short man.
You got that short man complex to the 10th
So
power.
a lot of good things. Phil McCracken says a tall girl. I'd like to know his reasoning as to why, because the rest basically agree with us. Tall Skywalker says a short guy, hands down. Listen here, Frodo, says Matt B. Bastrike, a short guy. Alpha Landwalker says short guy. Darth Skywalker says a tall girl because she could obviously be in the NBA is a good thing.
Yeah,
so
that's
WNBA.
true. You can be a volleyball player. You can be a basketball player.
Yeah, Phil says,
model?
I think women care more about looks than superficial things. And that would actually lend to why short guys would be harder because women would look at the short guy and go, nope.
Yeah, he needs to be 6 feet
Now,
tall.
I can speak to this specifically because my mom is 5'10", and when she puts on heels, she's 6 foot. And it was hard for her to find guys that were taller than her, but it wasn't impossible.
Yeah.
And she, when she was really young, got hit up for modeling because of her height all the time.
Right.
And you know what I mean? It's just like
If you're
one of
6
those
feet
things.
tall as a woman, you'll probably end up being a model or something, because chances are. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you've got, you're being taller there's a lot of advantages. A lot of advantages, getting your own stuff, playing sports, like tennis. You don't even think about that. Volleyball.
Being 5 feet tall as a guy,
Being
in a
allowed
car,
to go in the big and tall stores. I mean,
you're not a dwarf. Think about it this way: you're not a dwarf if you're 5 feet tall as a guy. Dwarfs like under 4'10", like beyond 4'10" under. That's
Is it a
dwarf.
distinction?
Yeah.
Oh.
But at 5 feet tall, you're not technically a dwarf. You're just a
Dan
short
DeVito
man.
was not a dwarf.
I don't remember how tall he was.
He stood at 5.
Yeah, I would
he
rather
stood,
not
he stood
be a
at
short
5
guy.
foot before he started shrinking. So maybe he's a dwarf now.
Yeah, he might be dwarfing now.
So the majority of people agree that it would be harder to be a short guy than
Plenty
it
of
is a tall
advantages
woman.
for height over.
Tons of
being too
advantages for
short.
women and guys. I don't think guys would judge a tall woman, but lots of women are more superficially judgmental
They
visually.
probably want to climb that mountain.
Yeah,
When it comes to
I have
guys,
no complex about that.
You
I would
automatically
date a woman that's
assume
taller than me,
everything is
for sure.
proportionate, so I'm sure that would be a problem.
You guys were both talking at the same time, and all I heard was
That sounds about right. Usually that's how it works.
say what?
No, I'm not going to go now. I'm done.
Okay.
No, I said I have no complex. I would date a woman who is taller than me.
Okay.
Say probably they want to climb that mountain
Yeah.
as far as being a man climbing a woman is to 7 feet tall or whatever. 6
Oh
feet
well,
tall.
if you want to
But
go
when it
basic
comes to
about it,
when
yeah.
it comes to a guy, I'm thinking she's probably going to imagine that everything is proportionate, and that's a tough road to go.
Ooh, that is difficult. So 85% of the internet said short guy would be harder.
Yeah,
Would be harder to be.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that.
let me clarify that.
Well, there's always so much more social expectation about men being strong and powerful and tall and big and
I know they like
domineering.
tall,
or
dark, and
whatever.
handsome.
When you're short, suddenly it's like, oh, second-rate citizen.
Yeah, that's too bad.
All right, so I'm going to leave now.
All right. Go for it. You're up.
Obviously, I'm a
All right,
second
since
rate.
this one was forced on me, I'm going to go with it first. I'm not a fan of it because I have two similar questions, but we're running out of them. So
Yeah,
beggars can't be choosers. And I'm almost positive we may have asked this one before, or I read it
I read
before.
it.
I'm not
We just
sure.
read it
We're
a bunch of times.
We're
It's a
about to
nice-
find
Same one
out.
with this one.
But
I know I read this one before. I'm like, I don't want to use that.
since I'm stuck with it, would you rather be 15 or 50 for the rest of your life?
We've not read this on the air.
I've never even read
airway.
this one. So
Okay.
somebody else, obviously you.
Well,
You've read it
I've
in
read
your
it
head.
at least 4 or 5 times.
And you said, no, I'm not going to
Yeah.
do this
yeah.
one.
Well, because he doesn't care
For
about being
obvious
15
reasons.
or 50.
50 or 15?
50 or 15.
15 the rest of your life or 50?
I mean, here's the thing. Are
But
you?
mentally, we get to be whatever we want, right?
I'm assuming.
I mean, this is like a physical thing?
Yeah,
or?
it's just physically.
I don't know though. When they say just the age, it's kind of generalized. So I think you assume.
Because if I'm mentally 50 the rest of my life,
I could do 50.
I could do 50. Because I don't think I'm going to age poorly necessarily. At this point,
I'm almost there.
yeah, he's almost there. He's doing all right, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't have to go
You got a
beyond
ways
it.
to go.
You don't have to go beyond 50. You're like, I'm just 50.
Yeah,
and
I just
50 is
get
like
to
the
be
new
50.
40, right?
Yeah, something
but
like
15
that.
is like the new 10.
See, that's the thing.
So
a lot of people
you
don't
wanna be a
realize this,
moron.
especially the people asking these questions didn't realize this. I stopped aging at 25. I decided I was done there. I had no more birthdays. No more
well,
extra
a lot of us
years.
don't
I'm
want
just,
to.
I
Yeah,
was
but
done.
But if
do.
we had to go back to 15 and be mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically,
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
no, I would not do 15.
And that's why I think
heck with that.
that's why I feel it's an easy question because obviously, even if you were a 15-year-old but still had your same mental capacity now, you'd never be respected. You'd never get the time of day. People would automatically assume you're a kid. You'd be carded every time you'd walk into a bar. Bouncers wouldn't believe you.
I would have hair.
What up, Nev? How's it going, Nev? If everybody doesn't know Nev, Nev is another YouTuber, a fellow, well, I guess I'd call him a game changer, except for he never formally got that title. But
snap.
I will call him a game changer because he
Honorary
is,
title.
Yeah, pretty awesome, dude. What's up, Nev? Love you, brother.
Waymaker.
Yeah.
And to finish that question off, and since I'm going to age really well into my 50s, I wouldn't have a problem with being 50 the rest of my
Yeah,
life.
I mean, touch
'cause,
of
you know,
gray. All I got to do is diet if I really want to
touch
look
of gray.
younger.
I'd finally,
Yeah.
get back in the gym like I used to and get that 6-pack back. And
You can,
everything,
you can be in good shape at 50. If it was 60, I'd probably be like,
Yeah, if you were 15 and in the gym, like, pumping some serious iron and looking like really weird and that'd just be odd.
I don't know. At
Yeah.
15, I just think if I'm, my 15 was a rough time.
Yeah. So Darth Skywalker 50, Alpha 50,
Yeah.
Nev 50, Phil McCracken 50.
Any ladies
So
out
when
there?
every one of
That's
you
right,
guys,
50.
all right, I'm gonna your wives and girlfriends benefit here. For every one of you guys, when you turn 50, you have nothing to complain about now because you chose this.
Yeah,
you
that
wanted
is
this
right.
over
Oh,
15.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
just, I'm
There
sorry.
is no benefit to 15. He's right. You lose all, but you can't own handguns. You can't
There's a 15.
buy cigarettes or marijuana or
perpetually
alcohol.
stuck on your learner's permit.
You can't rent a car. You can't rent a B&B. You're screwed, man.
Yep.
15,
Hey, but
you
you can
can't
live with your
drive.
parents for the rest of your life.
No. Hello, governor. That's Nev.
Oh, man.
Yep, that sounds about like Nev.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello.
there's a 15
Hello,
in there.
governor.
Did you say hello? No, I said hello. But it's all
Yeah.
the same.
Or Jello pudding.
All right. What was that a poll? No, that was an answer.
No, that was just answer the
That was
internet.
That was an
you know?
answer.
That was an
I just
easy
want to
answer.
know outright, right now, who's coming with me?
Yeah. I
Who's
wanna be
turning 50?
I wanna
Who's
be
coming 50? Did anyone say 15? Nobody
Yeah,
said
one
15.
person.
Who?
Well, I
15 was a great year for me.
haven't been 50 yet.
15 was hard to beat Ballin' Thug. Oh, man. People listen to you when you were 15. I'm 35 and nobody listens to me now because they all have their own agendas. That's true, Ballin' Thug. I hear that. Plus, I mean, you could just be taken care of for the rest of your life.
It's true. If you really want to do that.
And so if I was 15 walking around with this beard, I think I'd get some attention. So,
Oh,
maybe.
man. Darth Mike brings up a good point. You'd be stuck in an episode of Groundhog Day, high school edition. Sounds like a terrible
I mean, that's another thing. I don't want to be in high school the rest of my life.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I was an emotional, overdramatic little wreck at 15. Forget that.
no.
Ooh, I'm
The
sorry.
me now cringes at the me
I
then.
might have been basically the same in so many ways.
You would look
physically.
identical.
I would have looked exactly the same with hair, but
Yeah.
I just would have been more of an emotional wreck, and I would have
Wait,
been doing
15,
school.
I would
the
have
rest
a
of my
little
life.
less of a beard. Yeah.
It would
Oh,
be
yeah,
right
there's that
here.
too.
Yeah.
I'd have
Right
like
there.
4 or 5 hairs and sideburns instead. But whatever, it doesn't matter. At this
No, my actual beard didn't come in legitimately till about 16, so I guess I was a little
He'd be
bit.
like, "Oh, I can never get to that point."
Ballin' Thug says freshman in high school. What kind of high school did you go to? I was 13 and as a freshman in high school.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Although high schools are different. My high school was 4 years. Some people's high school is only 3 years.
No, I was 4.
So and I
Well,
graduated
it all
at
depends on
17.
your birthday too. So if you have a birthday
Yeah.
at a certain time, they screw
That was
you
at
over
the end
for
of
a
the
whole
year.
year.
So
Yeah,
was
I
14.
graduated in high school at 17. I literally had my 18th birthday at boot camp. At boot camp. It was fun. Don't let them know that you have a birthday if you're in boot camp.
Yeah.
For the record,
Soap.
no fun. No fun.
I was 16 when I graduated high school, but technically my birthday was in July, so I was about to be 17. So.
You're up, by the way.
Oh, okay. So,
Asia.
Okay. So Africa. Would
Do you
you?
bless the rains down there?
No.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Toto.
I miss him. Would you rather see everything that has occurred in the history of the world or everything that is going to happen in the future? Existential BS. We'll see what happens.
See everything from the past or see everything in the future?
Yeah, you can see everything from the past, every moment in history, or everything in the future.
Well, we know everybody answered by saying they'd rather see everything in
not
the
a poll.
future.
It's not
I
a
know.
poll.
I'm just saying if it were a poll, everybody would say they want to see anything in the future because
future.
obviously, as a country and as a culture and as a lot of people, we don't learn from the past. We don't want to
we don't
go
look
back
at
to
it.
it. We don't want
It's
to look
called
at it.
Google,
We just want to
though.
move on from it. So.
But you can rewrite the googly.
You know what I'm saying? You can go. It's not saying you
Oh
can
no,
travel.
no, no! As we found, indoctrination camps. I mean, schools
But
can
you could
change
be a
history all they
historian-
want.
Okay, you could be a history teacher if you knew everything that happened in history. You could be a history teacher of any kind. if
Well,
you
that's all
wanted.
to say. I'd rather see the history side of it because, again, the future side of it's cool, but you would spend your entire life trying to account for it or plan for it or
How
make
about
the
this?
right moves
Would
because you know it's going to happen.
Would you rather
Whereas,
know the actual events of Jesus' life or the events of his return?
ooh,
No, I don't want to know the future, dude. I don't want to
insane.
know the future. I don't, even though knowing the history would not matter to anybody in real life now,
They
they'd be
still
like,
wouldn't listen to you.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
it would
I don't
matter to
believe
me
you.
because I'd be
don't
speaking like
believe
a
you.
historian all the time, telling people, "Well, that's not how it actually happened. You watching
Yeah.
CNN there? No, this is not history. I'll tell you what actual history is. I was there. I
Sit
saw
down
it.
for a moment. I want to tell you all about Abraham Lincoln. You know, like
I'd be like, that history book is wrong. And they'd
Let me
be like,
tell you all
"Shut
about the
up."
first Republican,
you're a good
Abraham Lincoln.
storyteller. I think I'd be pretty animated. I don't have a problem with the history aspect of it. We'd be pretty animated people.
I just think it would be fun to know the truth, just for
Yeah.
myself, just
yeah.
for my own peace.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah, and let me tell you, who actually killed
That's
JFK.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about
That would be interesting. Anybody out there? Okay, so
There was no guy on the grassy knoll.
see,
There was no guy.
Oh, there's a bunch. So
Magic bullet theory. Yes, it was one.
Darth Skywalker says future. The second coming is going to be dope for sure.
Right.
Nev, see everything from the past. I want to see what history has lied about, just for yourself,
true.
because nobody
Yep.
would believe you, Nev.
Yep.
You know
Yeah,
it's
it's
true.
true.
Phil
Girl,
McCracken,
you
seeing
know
everything in
it's
the
true.
future would take all the fun out of tomorrow. That is true. That's exactly why I wouldn't
Yeah.
want it. History for Matt B. Alpha Landwalker, future. Ball and
Yeah,
Thug.
I'm definitely in the history camp. I'd rather learn and know all the history, so that way
Yeah.
I could call the people on the internet.
History
liars.
is knowledge.
Ball and Thug brings up a good point. The second you learn the future, you would try and change it. Then you
Yeah.
would learn. Then you'd learn that future, and it would change the nonstop cycle of helping
Can't
people
change the
until you
past, but
died.
you can know about the past and you can learn from it.
Uh-oh. This is an interesting question.
The past
and
has
it
already
is a
happened.
pull the
The
internet.
future has not been written.
The future is not set.
Darth Skywalker bet on
Right?
sporting events like Back to the
And
Future.
every time you watch another Terminator movie, it changes the future.
Bassreich, just to know who really killed like JFK history otherwise.
But what if your dad went back in time, because you sent him back in time, to have relations with your mom, to have you, to save you from being killed by a Terminator?
Wait, is this a movie?
Oh, my head just blew up from circular reasoning. Kind of like carbon dating.
Sorry. It took me years to find out that doesn't make any sense.
All
But I still
right.
like Terminator movies, the first two.
Giggity, giggity, goo. All right, pull the internet. Question number 2 from Warrior to my men-at-arms.
Two.
If your arms
Extend them.
were spaghetti, would you want them cooked or uncooked?
So you want limp arms, or do you want?
I would go limp so I could take up a job in my lifelong ambition of being the wacky, wheeling, inflatable arm flailing tube man.
They'd have to be cooked or uncooked.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd just be dragging. Otherwise, you'd be scraping. You want them to drag, or you want them to scrape?
I would.
I mean,
I would have to take.
If I could straighten them at will, that'd be kind of cool.
Nope. I would say cooked. Sorry.
Yeah.
They would be really rigid, but I'd have to have rigid so I could do something with them.
Yeah.
I would take curly. So
I could make endless limp noodle jokes.
you would just go around slapping people.
It'd be really interesting if your fingers were noodles along with your arm. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of limpness or a lot of stiffness. You'd just be like poking people. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, you can't do anything with limp arms. Darth Skywalker is right. And,
Well, what's a crack?
Phil McCracken is eating his own horns. No.
With the straight ones, you could just get a job at an airport, so you could be guiding in the planes.
But then all of a sudden, all it takes is one heavy object to be trying to lift, and oh crap, my arm's been broken.
That's pretty funny.
Just tape some flashlights to your noodles.
Over here.
You could say every girl you ever dated, I hope you like spaghetti.
Matt B says you could be like you could be in movies as like an octopus or something if they were cooked.
Yeah, right.
Like, gosh.
And the guy that runs across the screen going,
I'm amazing noodle man.
I'm amazing octopus noodle man.
What's up, noodle arm?
You can do the wave.
So 56, it's pretty close, half and half almost,
figured.
said they would rather have it cooked. Weird. Noodly.
Limp arms.
Limp arms.
Limp arms. Like I said, so much more comedic
I
value.
bite my fingernails. Those fingers would be gone. There'd be no way.
You bite your fingernails?
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else that does that.
All right, Frodo fingers.
Yeah, I totally chew my nails. People are like, what happened to your hands?
Oh, this one's getting ripe.
Why do they look like mushrooms? I'm like,
I mean, I thought the same thing.
Since I was an infant, I've been chewing on them. I don't know.
I thought the same thing when I saw Frodo and he's playing with his ring. I'm like, those aren't his fingers.
I know.
They
I was
can't be.
like,
Those are
oh,
children's
look,
fingers
I'm not
or
the only
something.
one that does that.
Yeah.
Frodo has disgusting hands like me. Hey,
I don't know, though. I forget to trim my nails a lot, so I do kind of get
if you
long
can't make
after a
fun of
while.
yourself, you can't make fun of other people. That is a fact in my book.
The facts
Although, as
of
much as
life.
I work on things and get grit in my fingernails and all that, I've been asked before if I get manicures.
Hey, if you don't have fingernails, you can't get grit in them. Just saying.
Yep, it's true. Especially yours. You can't get much of anything in those.
No, and then your nail grows over, and then you just have like flesh.
Yeah,
it's really
but
cool.
I'd certainly like to see you.
And then I can nub.
I'd
I
certainly
can
like to
nub
see
you.
you try and peel a sticker off a window. Maybe open the tape on a package.
I use a power washer and I use a knife for that.
Yeah, he has to use tools. He can't use his fingers for much of anything. But that's okay. He can at least hold stuff.
I am resourceful.
I've got 10 tools on me at any given time.
Yeah.
I have my teeth.
I am a tool. Wait.
Not for long.
You should see how I open a deck of cards. Instead, you're like, chip, done. And I'm like,
Why do all these cards have teeth marks in them? Shut up.
Oh, Lord.
oh, okay. All right. You're up. Number 2.
Noodles. Noodles. I want to
since
swim
I was
in
stuck
arms
with,
full of noodles.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Since I was stuck with 2 ones referring to age, let's stay on this train of thought here.
Okay.
So obviously, if you were stuck in one, 15 or 50, that's one thing. But which was better, or what was better? I don't know how you. Ages 8 to 18, or ages 18 to 28.
18 to 28.
I know, right? Some of these are just so stinking easy. It's not even fun.
Gosh.
Yeah, 8 to 18. Nope.
I mean, okay. So
18 to 28. 100%.
if it was
that one was easy.
This just goes to show there's a lot of people out there that are very whimsical, very fantasy minded. Oh, I just love being
If
a
it
child,
was-
and just everything was so great
wanna go
back
back
then.
and
I
play
hate
with
being an
my-
adult now.
if it was 3,
Hot pocket.
if it was 3 to
Bernie
13,
Sanders supporters.
if it was 3 to 13, I'd say yes. I like those years, 3 to 13. There's a lot about being a kid that were a lot of fun.
3 to 13.
Yeah.
Oh,
But to 18, I mean, I got to go through all those teenage years and those awkward things that I didn't enjoy very much, But if you go beyond that, I mean, I had some rough 20s too, but shoot, I had some better times at least. At least I had a little more maturity. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Still had my hair. There is that.
Yeah.
But
for
there's
me,
so many of those
8 to
questions.
18, I gained all my maturity. So 18 to 28 was just me standing around a lot of times, just going, "Wow, you're stupid. Why are you doing that? Why are you still acting like you're 18?
Why are you so
25?"
stupid?
What's up, Andrew? My brother says 18 to 28 by far.
Oh, of
Matt
course.
B says 18 to 28. Nev says I was getting coffee, missed the question. What's better, 8 to 18 or 18 to 28?
Well,
Nev?
and if I could go back and change anything about that, going back from 18 to 28, I would rather change more on that than I would 8 to 18.
That's
because
true.
8 to 18, it didn't screw up a whole lot.
Now
my
you do
brother
too much
said
better.
from 8 to 18 he was on probation or in jail.
Yeah, well, there is that.
So 8 to 18, there's no fear in ignorant. 18 to 28, there's no fear in stupid. But I'd still vote on 18 to 28. Also, I was in prison from 18 to 28 for 5 years, so I'd actually like to try that again.
Right.
18 to 28, puberty
One more
sucked.
time.
Yeah,
I
you know
definitely
what?
would have liked to have gone through my 20s again just to fix it what I did wrong because I did a lot of crap in that time period.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you'd be that age again, so you'd probably do those things wrong again.
It's true. You got a point there. Maybe I will. Okay, so I ran away from God at 18. So maybe if I didn't do that and I can live 18 to 28.
You'd probably do the same thing again. I'm telling you. Again,
I'm being such a negative Nancy.
Such creatures of habit.
I'm just saying, we do the same thing because we're just silly like that. We just do the same thing.
Man, I still would have dated on and off again. Christina Shipman, probably.
Yeah,
so
no.
that's a rough one.
That's a terrible name.
Christina
Bob.
who?
You should have just
Yeah.
said Tootsie.
Say that last name again?
Shipman.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You could have gone with
heard
the other
something
one.
else.
You could have gone with the other one.
Christina, man, I tell you, come on.
That's basically your name.
Yeah, I heard something else. But all right, let's go with you and let's see what
This
you
is
got.
basically the same line.
People
of
joke about
thought.
succubuses, but they've never actually
Now,
met
if
these
this is another
succubus
age
before.
card, I'm going to be unhappy.
This card is aged well.
Okay.
Would you
It's
rather
like a fine wine.
see this one's pretty stupid, but at the same time, I think it's kind of a difficult question for SureShot. Would you rather build your own shelter or hunt your own food?
I can only
Hunt for
pick
your own
one.
food, or you're gonna build your own shelter. Which one are you gonna choose? I know. I was like, he's not gonna like this question because that's a tough one.
Because I can do both.
Yeah, why just not do both? I don't understand.
Well, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he feeds himself for.
Right, sure.
life.
You can feed yourself.
So,
but you don't have to. It's
All
not
I want to
saying-
say
it
is,
says, would you rather?
we'll pair up together and he'll do one, I'll do the other. and
Oh,
it'll be
come
fun.
on. That's not how this works.
break the question.
Yeah.
That's just giving you a choice. Would you rather
Break
be
the wall down and break the
assuming
internet.
as you build your shelter,
I would
you
rather
have food.
I would rather build the shelter, and this is why. Food, I know I can do it, but I would rather, if I had to be dependent on myself for one or the other to survive, I know for a fact I can build shelter to survive forever.
Yeah, but just
Unequivocally.
just assume you can build a shelter and you still go to the grocery store.
But hunting, there's times I'll know I'll be able to kill stuff, and then there'll be times where
I have no
it'll be
idea.
like, oh crap, I went 2 months and I
Feast or
couldn't
famine.
catch something,
Yeah.
and I might die because I couldn't catch something. I'm not like, I can set traps and I can try and, but okay, you'll run out of bullets, you run out of spears, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your nets run dry.
But building your own home, there's something in that. There's something in building a shelter.
Well, here's the thing, though. We got to put
wintertime.
this in proper context.
Everything's gone.
If you're putting hunting and building a shelter together in a question, I'm obviously assuming that's some kind of survival situation. So it's either like a bomb shelter or a doomsday shelter, some kind of survival
Shelter.
shelter.
It
So
just says shelter. Your own shelter.
yeah, I mean, I guess if it's
365.
a survival situation, then yeah, I guess I'd rather hunt because
sure.
then you can still eat. Shelter's
then you
the
have
one
no
thing.
shelter.
If it's like building a doomsday shelter or whatever, I would probably still go that route because as much as I want to do it myself, I can't pour concrete. I'm not a very good welder for the
This is-
fabrication part of it.
Would you rather be able to, or I guess it says,
Well, I don't understand where the doomsday is coming in here. A shelter.
I was throwing out scenarios because obviously the question's
I
a little
can,
vague.
I can dig into the side of a mountain. I could find like a cave and then modify it.
I was just thinking home.
I can set
Build
my
yourself a
own.
home.
I can set my own
Right. So
stick
so again,
traps
I guess I
and-
would still stick with hunting.
Yeah, I would do a shelter. I just know
Still
I could
gotta
build
eat.
a really solid, warm shelter for myself.
And then go down to the grocery store and get your food.
And 365, I could survive in a shelter.
Well, if it's a quick survival situation too, I would probably try to build a Taj Mahal as
Says
opposed to a
nothing
nice
about
little wicker
in a
hut.
survival situation. It doesn't
know.
say anything
I
about anything other than would you rather
Exactly.
build a shelter or hunt your
But
food?
we don't just
Hunt your own
answer
food?
the question straight here. We
That's
discuss
right.
Them.
Just telling you,
We
it's
pick
incredibly
them
vague.
apart.
You want to hunt for your food,
We
or you want to
elaborate.
build that shelter. Either way, in this
Hey,
world
sure
right
shot.
now, you are buying stuff. You're not
Oh, there
building.
wasn't a percentage on his card, Ball and Thug. Sorry.
No, both mine were just answered the internet. So as if the
Yeah.
internet was asking
Yeah.
me the question.
Normally
I'd
we
say,
say
"Here's my
something
opinion."
about that poll, but we didn't poll.
Phil said he assumed someone's hunting, so he'd build the shelter. Me too. I'd build the shelter. Darth said shelter. It's one and done. Hunting, you'd have to do it all the time.
Just
That's
give me
true.
a lot
That's
of
a good
spaghetti
point,
hands,
Darth.
right? I'll just cook my
Darth
spaghetti
Skywalker.
hands.
Darth Mike says, but building a shelter is like a one-time event. Maybe maintenance, eating is a daily thing. Nev says, I don't like splinters, so he'd go hunting. Ball and Thug says, thanks. Yeah. Some of these cards are answer, and they just have an answer, and then poll the internet, which is all of mine, actually have a poll. So
you
they're
got a
actually,
poll, huh?
yeah.
Well, and
And then
there's other
there's
ones that debate the
debating.
internet.
Yes. We don't-
debating doesn't have.
That doesn't have much of anything, though.
Yeah, none of them have an actual poll unless it says a poll.
I don't know. There's something about being able to build your own home that I think every man should.
This really isn't a
want to
home.
do.
It's
It's a
just
shelter.
a
Guess
shelter.
what?
Well, yeah,
Home
if
is your shelter.
Yeah, and then let's take it from the other standpoint. This is modern day society here.
right.
Hunting is more of a hobby, and obviously it's still to
Right.
provide food, whatever. But obviously I
don't
like
have
filling
to
my
hunt.
freezer full of meat for a lot less than I would
You don't
go
have
buy
a
from the market
freezer.
for. But
Just assume we're talking about like modern times. Or
yeah, exactly.
not
So we're talking about modern
post-apocalyptic.
times, then yes, I'd go with the shelter side of it. If we were in an actual survival situation, then hunting.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. There's the
That's right.
answer.
Says
Throw the
he's-
card away, set it on fire. It's over.
Bastrick's too lazy to hunt. He'd build a shelter. All right, poll the internet. I'm the only one with these. Poll the internet, so I'll give you the percentage, really high percentage on this one. Who has the easier job?
Uh-oh.
Okay, no. Who has the easier job?
Santa
There better not be any
Claus.
gender roles in this question.
I can read from here.
Santa Claus,
Seeing as I was only 2.
I hadn't wanted to
Santa
answer.
Claus, or the Easter Bunny? Gonna have to analyze this. Santa Claus goes all over the world, but so does the Easter Bunny.
Well, Santa Claus has a lot of helpers.
So the Easter Bunny does it all by himself, but he goes through the center of the earth apparently and comes out of the earth.
Oh, you
and
watched
pops up.
Hop.
I did watch Hop. That's a theory.
He's got Cyclops
it's
on his
a
side.
theory.
It's a theory.
Santa Claus or Easter Bunny?
Island.
Which one's an easier
Well,
job?
I know what Easter actually means, but I don't know the lore behind the Easter
We're gonna
Bunny.
go with the theory of just the good old fashioned Easter Bunny. We're not gonna go all
Right. I still don't know the lore of the Easter Bunny.
Does he poop candy? If he poops candy like he does in the movie and puts it
Yeah.
into an egg and gives it to people, he's
Yeah.
not doing that much work. Ultimately, he's
Yeah.
not having to make the candy or buy.
He's
the
not
candy.
distributing it to every child in the world.
Santa Claus.
Not every child
has to do it year
cel-
round.
Yeah, not every child in the world celebrates.
He also has to
Easter.
micromanage a bunch of little people.
But a lot
Yeah.
of people
I
celebrate.
can't
Santa
imagine
Claus.
elves are very attentive.
Yeah,
They
and
seem-
he
they seem a bit
always act like
distracted.
he's just got to do one thing one time a year. But even that one thing, he has to travel around the world in one night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just not feasible to one man to be able to do that. Yeah, but he
It
does
is feasible because it happens.
Yeah, just saying. Anyway,
All I know, Neil, is you've got more important things to worry about. Like when the circus leaves town, where are you going to get your sweaters?
telling you, Santa Claus, Bono Natale,
Para Noel.
per de cold, Porto Chicho. All right. Anyway,
All right, we got a couple of answers coming in.
I'm
Nev
gonna
says
have to go
the
with Chris
Easter
Kringle on
Bunny.
this one.
Overheads
Easier
are lower
job?
than Santa.
Wait, who has the easy? Oh, easier job.
Yeah, easier
Easter
job.
Bunny.
I thought it was a
Bunny.
harder job.
it's the Easter
I
Bunny.
automatically take things harder.
Easter Bunny. He doesn't have to climb into anybody's like house through a
Santa
freaking chimney.
Claus. Bass Reich says Santa Claus because he drops all the gifts in 1 second all over the world. I've never heard of that, but that's kind of an interesting theory. Phil McCracken says Santa can skip the bad kids. The bunny has no such rules. Interesting thought.
It's true.
Yeah.
Darth Skywalker says Easter Bunny is easier. He could put the eggs anywhere because they're hidden.
He doesn't skip.
Oh, he gets to be lazy.
It is our job to find them,
exactly.
right? So-
He does. He
He
doesn't
just poops
skip.
them everywhere. He just runs around pooping.
Yeah, he doesn't skip the bad kids. He gives them coal.
Oh,
So he's not a sentient bunny. He's
But-
just a regular bunny.
But
Santa has to be on the
Santa
chimney to
doesn't.
put the
Not
presents
everybody
exactly where you
celebrates
expect
Christmas, and it's just like not everybody celebrates Easter. But he's hiding those Easter eggs all over the place, so it doesn't really matter who celebrates it.
But does he hide them or does he just run around carelessly
this is a
pooping
situation
everywhere?
where
Exactly.
This is a situation where I'll totally claim my ignorance here, since I don't know how non-Christians celebrate Easter. What do you actually do? I mean, like,
Yeah,
You just go look for Easter eggs.
I guess.
really? That's
Yeah.
it.
That is it.
Easter
I didn't
egg
know
hunt.
because I mean, obviously Santa Claus. There's a whole lore behind him. There's
Yeah.
a whole story. You have to believe in him. You have
they
to get
build
into
it up.
You have to put up decorations, which
They
I hate
build it up
decorations.
for like a month
Easter
and a
Bunny
half.
is just oh yeah,
get
it's
an Easter
Easter.
basket.
All right, here's your Easter basket.
Yeah, have
Go
fun.
find
Have
eggs.
some chocolate
Yeah.
bunnies.
Have
Yeah,
fun.
Pigs.
Here's a hollow Easter bunny
Yummy.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
totally got an easier job.
I mean, like, is there a story behind the Easter bunny
Well,
that I
have
don't
you
know
watched
about?
any Easter Bunny movies ever in
No.
your life?
Not that I
You
recall.
have a sad history.
What about the
of
Easter Beagle?
childhood. I've watched so many Easter Bunny cartoons with my children.
It's about
Maybe
Jesus'
they have
resurrection.
seven.
It's not about Easter bunnies.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was taught too. But
Well, that's what cartoons are for. They're fun.
Well, and the joke was always about, oh, the Easter bunny brought these guys, and I'm like, yeah, thanks, mom and dad, cool. Like I didn't need to have the whole guise of Santa Claus and Easter bunny taken away from me. I just figured that one out.
Yeah.
I wasn't stupid.
my mom was funny. She was always like, "Yeah,
I was
this
like-
present's from Santa Claus."
think I was
I'm like,
2 or 3.
Thanks, mom. I
Yeah,
know it's
right.
from you.
I think I was 2 or 3 when I realized that none of that crap
I understand how
existed.
nowadays commerce works. You purchased these for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Capitalism.
That's a tough one. So Darth Mike says they're both are eaten in chocolate effigy.
True. Yeah.
That is true.
They are both false idols that are worshipped. Yeah.
They are both.
Who's more
Eaten.
difficult, a golden calf or
I know, right? That's hilarious.
who has the more difficult job here, a golden calf?
So what's your official answer? Who has the easier job?
Easter bunny.
Okay.
And that could be out of sheer ignorance. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the same, and that's not out of ignorance.
I'd say Easter Bunny because the truth is, with all the stories I've read, the Easter Bunny just does it once a year. It's like he has a little week prep and then
Yep.
does it, whereas Santa Claus is like year round.
Yeah, year round. Even though he
Year
does that one
round.
crazy night, but he has to make all these toys for all these people. You
Yeah,
know?
and he has to micromanage that entire team of.
All I
elves.
know is
And the
he's either got magical coffee or a real Coke problem.
No.
Yeah, probably
But you know, the Easter can be taken over by a beagle. easily, no problem.
My beagle.
Chucking eggs everywhere. Woo! Dancing it up.
Just wiener dogging it up.
Yeah. Telling you. It's an easy job. Anybody can do it.
Oh, my.
You don't even have to talk. You sit on the Easter
my.
Bunny's lap and he's like, this guy's terrifying. Just give me an egg. I'm out of here.
All right, that one might be kind of funny, so I'll save it till last.
Yeah.
We done on that one? We beat it to death?
Nope.
Yes,
We're
we've
gonna
been
talk about
done.
it forever.
We've been done.
Okay.
We've been
I mean,
coming.
don't get me wrong. I can keep on going. But, all right, so again, answer the internet. Don't have any polls here. Oh, what was the poll on that one?
83% said the Easter Bunny's easier.
Yeah, see.
So most of
83%
society
of
feels the
people
same
are
way.
intelligent.
17% are
Both
not so
pagan
smart.
holidays, but you know, you gotta do. You know,
That's a really relative one, so don't worry about it too much, guys. Would you rather have the ability to drink with no hangover? It's not something that, anyways, be able to pull any girl at the bar. That's just such
Pull?
a weird way to say it. Pull any girl. I could pull any girl at this here bar. Calm down
Pull
your
'em.
toolbox.
Like, be able to pull 'em over to you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
In other words-
so what do you think? 50% of you,
Yeah.
50% of you, pulling all these women.
Right, exactly. Or, and this is a three-parter.
CNL blast.
So two things that I think most guys would be like, oh, yeah, all right, both those sound good. And then
Sorry,
another
gotta
one
get
that kind of
the
makes you go, wait, what? So all of that, or become friends with Joe Pesci.
What?
What?
Yeah.
You know what? I really like Joe Pesci. He's a really funny guy.
Give me a word, any word, and I'll pronounce it wrong for a nickel.
He's a funny guy, though,
So
isn't he? He's a funny
I don't
guy.
care about pulling in girls
in
at
girls.
the bar, and I
Right.
don't care about Joe Pesci. So I suppose I'd like to drink without no hangover. And the truth is, last night I had a friend come over. We played some cards, and I had 2 beers before he got there. And then when he got there, he brought a third beer over for me to try. The 2 IPAs I had were 9% alcohol.
Man, he got trash.
Yeah, no, I didn't get trashed. I didn't get trashed at all, but I had my 2 beers at 9% alcohol and they were 16 ounces.
Yeah.
So that was all I was going to have. Just those 2 16 ounce,
Yeah.
9% alcohols, and I was done. Well, then when he came, he was like, oh, you've got to try the beer I brought. It was a pint.
Brat.
It was a pint.
Oh my gosh.
And it was 7% alcohol, but it was really delicious. It was sweet. And he was right. I did definitely, after I tried it, I was like, oh, that's nice. But the thing is
had
those
2 cups of coffee this
those 3 beers right before bed dehydrated me a little bit. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. with a slight headache. I was like, dang it. So
That's
I had
why
to
you had
wake
2
up,
cups, yeah.
go to the restroom, drink some water, and go back to bed.
Yeah, it's fun.
So with that said, if I could not deal with that,
I mean,
is bladder in there as well?
yeah, if you
Right.
get rid of the bladder aspect of it, I don't want to have to pee every 5 seconds when I drink, you know? Like, I already had 4 beers, now I have to pee 10 times.
It's hard for me because when it comes to vices, I enjoy many other things than drinking. Like, I do enjoy a beer, but hangovers and being drunk and to that point is not fun to me. That part just doesn't really appeal so much. So
He's
to
a
be able
funny
to drink
guy.
without a hangover is kind of like, okay, I guess I'd probably have to go with that one because, yeah, I guess the thing that I like the least about drinking.
4 or 5 months ago when I still had alcohol, I'd say the hangover. I guess right now, pulling in women would be
It's
a
more
bad idea.
convenient than actually abusing it.
So hold
you know?
on. This might change it. Nev says pull is a colonialism for hooking up. So he says
Right.
he would go with that because he's single.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, not that I want to hook up with every girl at the bar, but whoever you want, I suppose. Makes
I
it
mean,
like, okay, I
let
can
me
do
put
that.
it this
I can
way.
do that, sure.
My man
Each time
Joe.
I feel like you give away a little bit of your
cracking.
soul, and I've not given away a lot of my soul, so I want to keep what I have left
Right.
still intact.
I understand that, but maybe if I'm hooking up meant just getting together, not in the biological
This game is
standpoint.
totally in the
I don't
worldly
care.
sense, dude. So,
I don't care. It's not about what they want. It's about what I want. I want to.
So you're going to go snuggle
My
and talk about
perception
your
of
feelings?
your reality
we're
is
gonna
not
talk
reality.
about our feelings. We're
He's
gonna
a
watch,
snuggler, you guys.
We're gonna watch
He's a
Sex and the
snuggler.
City. You know, it's gonna
You
be
like
great.
it, you like it, the pillow talk.
So Darth Skywalker says, married man, he's married. So he doesn't drink. So Joe who?
Yeah, right. He's a funny guy.
I guess
Joe
you're gonna be.
Pesci.
I guess your new friend's Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
He's a friend. All
Darth
right.
Mike says, I don't drink enough for the first ability. So Joe, since I can't use him as a wingman. Phil McCracken, my man Joe. Look, Joe is hot today, man. Apparently Joe
tell
Pesci.
you.
Everybody likes Joe. Well, he
Pesci.
wasn't the Irishman.
Everybody wants my
They
cousin
de-aged him.
Vinny.
Yeah.
Matt B says definitely
Do
a drink
you-
without a hangover. I don't drink enough to worry about it 99% of the time. But like I
Right.
said, last night normally I have 2 beers. And that's
just
it.
for that occasional old man hangover where it's just like, oh man, those 2 beers hit me just right. And I'm going to have a headache the rest
Once
of the
you
night.
get to a certain age, it's just a certain amount of alcohol intake without the water, and you're just like, I just feel like crap the next day. Not because I want to throw up.
I try to stick to the military adage, 1 beer, 1 water, 1 beer, 1 water.
Yeah, it's hard to double fist sometimes.
The problem with that though is at my age now, it's like 1 water, 1 beer, or 1 water, 1 beer, 1 water, 1 beer, and then it's like pee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For me,
the rest of the
it's
night.
1 beer, 1 pee, 1 water, 1 pee.
This is
1
totally
beer, 1
TMI. Too much information.
I just don't like to have to go to the bathroom that much, and I'm gonna poll those girls, and we're gonna go hang out.
Gareth Miller is helping us out. He's like, poll means hooking up in England, which we just figured that out because Nev helped us out. Thank you, by the way.
I'm sorry, I should have specified. I knew what this meant.
By the way, guys, I found out I am 9% Viking. 9% Norway.
I didn't take any tests, but somebody else did.
9% Norway. But guess what? I am 51% England.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
51%
You're not
England.
blonde and super blue-eyed and an actor. I don't get it.
But I am 51%. And did you know that in England, if the ancestries.coms that are coming out of England, 51%, like I'm 51% English, is higher than the average ancestry.com coming out of England. I have because of the blend of what was going on at the time.
Their percentage is Muslim now, right?
No,
burn.
No, dang, dude. Slam. That's
my last
so
name
mean.
is 100% English.
Oh, sorry. It's not mean when it's true.
You're being
Vicious.
rude.
Hashtag savage.
But no, so yeah, I'm 51% England, and then Wales, English, and then Norway, 9% Norway.
I don't know what part of me is Scandinavian.
And then I have Germanic, 31% Germanic, which I
plenty
knew
of
that.
German.
Yep.
But my last name is 100% English. My
Nev says, then why are you using a
mother's
Scottish
is-
accent? Because I have I have 14% Scottish in
my
me.
mother's last
That's the
name is
remaining
100%
balance.
German. One of my grandfather's
And I don't do
names
accents well, Nev. Just
is
so you know.
100% Italian. Yeah.
My wife says I should never do accents because when I try to do racist, whenever I try to do accents, I always do the wrong one. So
Generally speaking.
Well, yeah, Paul Rudd and I Love You, Man. Why does every accent I say always turn into a leprechaun? I don't get it.
I don't know. me too.
I don't understand why we already talk like this.
Slappity bass, man.
Lucky Charms.
I'm definitely not the guy to do the accents. I start off like Chinese, it turns into a Spanish accent and ends in like a Scottish.
This is why you're not at.
And people are like, what are you doing?
All right.
Yeah, Darth Mike got it. Slappity bass, man.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I did actual reggae
Matt
accent.
B
It's
is
supposed to be
Viking
a
as well.
leprechaun.
Slap at the beach, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm primarily English and Irish because my grandma did do some research, but I think only on her side. So it's like it's a weird combination. I got a little bit of Polish, Russian, Choctaw, Indian, but mostly Irish and English.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's
Cherokee
probably
and
plenty
Like
more in there, but that
go a
just
couple
only
of
proves a point further that I'm American. I'm a
go
melting pot.
A couple of like generations back to find like 100%
I am
this, 100%
Europe,
that,
North
but-
Europe. I am just like,
I'm all Europe.
I am like just right.
Yeah, when they
Oh,
when they
you're
ask me
North
ethnicity and questions now, I just put American.
Yeah.
You're all
Caucasian
Merca.
American.
You just put an eagle.
Are you Caucasian? No. You white? No. You American? Yep.
Well, now that I'm getting tan, I can say that I'm Egyptian or. So let it be written. So let it be done.
I don't know. Nelly Furtado claimed to be Egyptian. Come to find out she's Canadian.
Feel the rain on your skin. Wait, sorry, wrong person.
Yep.
Oh man, those videos crack me up.
Oh, that's going to tangent us for a while. Don't go there.
Sorry.
Don't go there.
I just thinking right off the bat about the Home Depot. Yeah, Home Depot music. Anyway. Sorry, these memes. Anyway.
Less speaking, more doing.
Yeah, all right. So this is a poll. This is a poll of the internet, and there's an A and a B in the situation. All right. So 2 buttons in your life. Beep, beep, A and a B button.
Oh, start sweating now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You can only press one of these buttons. So, so you take the red pill, and you get instantly $1 million. You take the blue pill, and you have a 50-50 chance to get $100 million. Which one do you do? A or B?
Million or 150 million?
100 million, 50-50 chance.
But a million or
Automatic.
100 million, 50-50.
So
chance?
let me just rephrase this question for you, nice and easy. Are you a gambler or not?
Yeah.
I'm not a gambler, so I take the million.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you're gonna
done.
So you're not a gambler or you're a gambler.
Nope, $1 million. Thank you. Have a
I
nice
think
day.
it all depends on
Goodbye.
the point in my life. If for some reason I needed $100 million to pay off some hitman to keep him from killing my wife that I don't have, I mean, I would probably take the gamble at
Do you
that
know why?
point.
Because Capital Games would be running this, and I would guaranteed get the 50%
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
chance.
That's
I'd be
the
like,
thing.
oh,
50% of zero is
and then
still
you
50%.
And you click on the little eye in the corner, and you click on it, and you'd read all the way to the bottom, and it would be like the 50% chance was made up of 90% not going to the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance, and you only get one chance.
Yeah,
Right.
of 0% chance of the 90% chance.
sorry.
Of not
No,
getting it.
safe SureShot says, yep, I'll take the million walk. Set up all the proper situations and examples and all that, and it comes right down to having to make that choice. And okay, fine, I'll roll the dice on that one.
You could take $1 million. Listen, you could take $1 million. You could stick it in the worst savings account in the history of mankind and get $3,000 a month, $3,000 a month, and that's in the worst savings account. The best savings account,
$3,000 a month, and you get about 1,000 of that after you pay your taxes.
No, I'm just saying you could stick it in a savings account, the worst savings account, and get $3. But with that kind of money, you could get a high yield savings and make about $10,000 a month, very, very, very easily. Who could not live on $10K a month?
I don't know. I'm definitely doing all right.
Honestly, I mean, who could not live on $10K a month? $10K a month is like
It would definitely-
Hey,
lemon
quit making
squeezy.
me feel bad about this. You're making me want to do some lifestyle changes because, I guess I could trim it down to $10,000 a month. Yeah, why not?
I mean, anybody could live on $10K a month. That is
absolutely.
easy peasy lemon squeezy, and you would never touch your $1 million because it's literally principal only you're living off of. That's it. So you would never touch your $1 million. You'd live on interest alone, and you'd live on $10K a month. And then if you needed to dip in just a little bit, you could just not spend the full $10K, let it stack up a little, and then just pay cash.
It's
for
a
stuff.
$100 million for B, by the way, not $50 million.
So what? 100 million is stupid.
100 million to 1
That's
million.
just greed.
And if the adage is true, more money, more problems. So
Yeah,
I
more
do
money you come
I do
across.
hear about this a lot.
B.
Obviously, you're asking for it when you're a 19-year-old running back that suddenly gets $100 million dropped in your lap or whatever. Yeah, that's gone in a couple of years. I know it's crazy to think, but it happens all the time.
It's
But
more like basketball. You're 19 and you get like $100 million.
something like that. Even at this stage of my life, would probably be overwhelming. So yeah, with $1 million. This point in my life, with the knowledge that I have now, absolutely, I could do more with that than hoping for 100 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so
some funny.
58% of these people.
Oh, you got a poll.
Yeah,
Awesome.
They
You
picked
actually
A.
58%. Over half said
Took
A.
the easy money.
Yep. And Nev said he'd definitely take the 1 mil for sure. That way he could keep on doing YouTube for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And then Enice is now in the house. What's up, Enice? He says
Yeah, because
hi.
100 million would change my lifestyle, whereas $1 million would just kind of solidify it.
Yeah.
Darth
Make
Mike.
it easy to live.
Darth Mike says he'd take the mill and he'd gamble it in stocks. I'm not sure I would do that, but that's definitely smart.
Take the mill and
Matt-
gamble a couple 100,000 in
Matt
stocks.
B says he'd take the blue pill and gamble. Wow. Woo. Woo. Could you imagine if he
Crazy.
hit it though?
Yeah.
100 mil.
100 mil.
100 mil.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And he'd be like, oh. When
Well,
he
I mean,
lost.
yeah, think about the person who got the 50-50 and 100 million richer. You're sitting there with your $1 million going, well, crap.
Yeah.
He's like flying in planes.
You get to sit in line
and you're
and wait.
living off 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
I guess
Living off 10 grand. Jeez, it just sounds so horrible when you put it that way.
If you were in line,
And then
right?
Matt B changed his answer. He said, damn it, if CG's running the 50-50, I'm definitely out taking the mill instead.
right? Yeah.
But if you're sitting
Just
in line,
assume in a situation like that, it's an entity like Capital Games who's running the odds for you. So.
They're all running the odds if it's gambling because all gambling
Yeah.
companies are the same.
if you're sitting in line though, and the people
The
in front
house
of you
always
are like,
wins.
grabbing, you have to
The
like
house
start watching
always
the
wins.
numbers and be like, okay, that guy picked $1 million, that guy picked $1 million, that guy tried B, it didn't work.
No,
that guy tried
no.
B, it didn't
The
work.
house is always favored to win. No. The house always wins.
I'm sure you could figure
How
it out.
many casinos do you see going out of business?
couple of good answers. Darth Mike says, I might need 100 million to keep up with Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Oh,
though."
snap.
Only for the next Galactic Legends character.
Yeah, Enice says 1 mil. That's a good answer. Nev says the power of 100 million could possibly corrupt you, though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With great power comes great
Like I said,
responsibility.
$1 million solidifies you as a person now. 100 million changes you.
Yep.
And then Copenhagen says would have to take the 50-50 chance. It's the only way to afford the next meta.
Yep.
Man,
We're all on the same page here.
why are you still playing
is-
this game?
Hilarious.
This is
You don't
ridiculous.
even play it.
I
You're
don't have
like
an
afraid.
opinion because I don't play this game.
Yeah, you can't have an opinion. I'm sorry, you've never played the game, so you can't have an opinion in
I'm
life.
pretty sure I've watched the movies, so that's good enough for me.
Nope.
No.
Well, I don't know. That same logic kind of goes. You've never had a child, so you can't have an opinion on abortion. Oh, wrong.
I haven't either because you aborted them all. Oh,
You can't have an opinion on morality because of the
Yeah,
because
right.
of some reason
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, the
that's
morality of
weird.
killing a human being certainly doesn't take place because I don't have a uterus.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
don't know.
poll
It's
the
crazy.
internet. Last question
Opinions,
for me.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is a simple one. I'm a simple man.
Simple
man. Oh yeah, Darth Mike, because he quit. He says, "I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to laugh at your Star Wars Galaxy Heroes jokes anymore."
Not allowed.
All right, not
Denied.
happening.
Nev says even with $1 million, he still would be free to play. That's
Right.
all right.
Yep. Because,
Okay.
you're smart with your money, right?
Yeah, you work hard for your money. So hard for it.
Poll the internet. Last question of the day. Serious question here, you guys.
Super serial, you guys.
This is a serious question. Waffles or pancakes?
Ooh, it depends on the. I mean, if it's just plain pancakes, then I'm taking the waffles all day.
Well, you don't have to be plain pancakes. It's just the question's pancakes or waffles.
But if they're like,
Do them up however you want, but
Yeah.
waffles or pancakes.
I mean, I've had some good pancakes in recent years. I was never a pancake guy.
Take
until-
your best waffles and your best pancakes, match them together. Which would you prefer?
Okay, so this is how I do my waffles, right? Waffles are pretty boring, and they don't really go. Give me nutrients. Nutrients.
Depends on how you make them.
But I put peanut butter on one, and then I put butter and syrup on the one on top,
Maybe you do it wrong.
and it becomes kind of like a butterscotchy, awesomeness that I appreciate. But when it comes to my favorite pancake, it's apple cinnamon pancake that my mom makes. It's just to die for. I love it. So if I had the choice, I'm probably still going to take the apple cinnamon pancake.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
here's the thing.
Answers are coming in hardcore.
Here's the thing. I like both. I do. But when it comes right down to it, my memory of taking a bite out of one or the other and going, holy cow, that is good, has been associated more with pancakes than waffles, even though I think waffles are a more fun texture.
Yeah.
And I've also seen more creative pancakes out there than waffles. I've been to, if anybody been to IHOP, I mean, come on, you got chocolate chip, you got freaking New York
strawberries in either
cheesecake, you got, all kinds of options. There's a Cinnabon style that I've seen before, just straight fudge. You can do a heck of a lot more with pancakes, and I have more memories of, oh, that was an amazing. But both of them are so mealy sometimes that I can barely get through one.
If it was,
So it's not as if I'm ever going to max out on
if
any
it
of
was
these.
somebody that just literally like made a pancake, just plain pancake, and then put a waffle in the thing. Here's a plain waffle. Here's a plain pancake. They're both just like styrofoam, basically.
Yeah.
Soft styrofoam that I have to gnaw into.
I don't know. I mean, I've had both that were
Like both
made
homemade.
with enough sugar or whatever that
Both
they were both
homemade.
sweet and I could eat them plain.
Both homemade, not Eggo. I'm talking
Right.
both homemade. One's in a waffle thing, and the other one's just on a pan, and you're just like,
I don't really think Eggos are actual waffles.
I'm just saying. People consider those waffles. There's the square ones too and whatever. But yeah, but somebody presses them and makes them, and it just kind of tastes like styrofoam, and they're really heavy. And then you got I think there might be a little more flavor to the pancake if they make a Bisquick.
Yeah, generally if I go to a restaurant and you've ordered your main
Yeah,
dish,
French
you
toast.
get a side of blah 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 or a pancake.
I was always a French toast guy for years. I did not like pancakes. I always
Right.
grabbed the French toast.
But generally, if they say you get a pancake or a waffle, if I've gotten one from a restaurant, usually the plain by itself with just regular syrup pancake is always tastier than the
it's
waffle
really flat
in a restaurant
They're
situation.
really big and flat. I like those.
So I have to say, I do a lot of travel for my job, and so I have to eat their breakfast. That's like the continental breakfast,
Right.
and the continental breakfast normally includes their like
Make your own
pile
waffle
of-
station.
yeah, the make your own waffle station, or the like soggy pancakes that are sitting in the like reheater.
Yep. Yeah,
so-
in that stainless steel tin that's been getting too much condensation, so they're all soggy.
Exactly. So because of that experience, my first inclination is to say waffles. Also, because they're crispy too. But I got to say that I can't ever eat the waffle fast enough before it actually gets soggy by the end of it and cold.
Right.
So the best thing I've ever eaten, if I have to think back, I've never had like the best waffle in my life that supersedes the best pancake in my life.
Right.
So the best thing I've ever had between the two was a pancake. I remember one pancake before that was so amazing that I just remember it, and I was just like, this pancake batter is like
This sticks.
the best,
The best.
the best, and the syrup was just to die for, and it
Came
was
right
just
out of that
buttered
tree.
perfectly, and the syrup was perfect, and it was the most fluffiest, and it was delicious, and I couldn't eat them fast enough.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was like 3 big fluffies, and it was amazing.
Pancakes.
I don't think I've ever thought of waffles like that. But if my choice is just at a breakfast, like just like I said, like
crappy
at a
breakfast.
continental breakfast, I'm always choosing waffles.
Where's that
Right.
hard-boiled egg? Thanks.
Well, because 9 times out of 10, you have the vat full of soggy pancakes, and then you have the griddle over there, the little make your own waffle station.
I'll make it fresh.
You got to go over to the little dispenser and fill a cup full of batter, and then
Twice.
hope that you fill up the thing correctly, and then put it on there, and then flip it over.
When was the last
and-
time you had McDonald's pancakes?
No, I don't eat McDonald's.
I remember
Sorry.
the film on my teeth more than I remember the taste of the hot cakes.
So Bassright
that sticks
says
with ya.
pancakes. Call says pancakes. Nev says pancakes. Darth Skywalker says, most say waffles, but I'd say pancakes.
Right.
Most are saying pancakes, buddy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Call says, what about French toast? That's a good option. It wasn't an option in
I
here.
know.
Sorry. Nev says pancake towers are awesome. Matt B says waffles. I want to agree with you, except for my favorite was always a pancake, but I love waffles as a default when I'm traveling, like I said.
Yeah.
And then
Well, because that
French
makes
toast.
the question easy. Because to suddenly throw French toast into it, then I guess my answer changes to
toast.
IHOP's stuffed French toast.
Fresh toast every
Yeah.
time.
and then Rita, thank you for participating. We have like a 3% female viewership, and so she's one of the 3% female
Ladies.
viewers. I do. I look at all my
single ladies.
I look at all my
You're obviously
stats.
a tough gal.
Yeah, she is. I look at all my my viewership, and it's 97% male and
Go figure.
3%
you?
female, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm married and I have 3 daughters.
I know. What
so
the heck's
I'm
up with
like,
that?
I thought I'd have a higher female viewership,
honestly.
but the truth is, it's because it's Star
hideous.
Wars: Galaxy of Heroes, and that game is
because-
statistically 3% female
I
players.
think it's just because we're hideous.
Well, speak for yourself. But okay, and then
Well, she's a
personal
guy,
polls
so.
on this question usually favor waffles, and he's right. 52% said waffles, so it edged out pancakes, just barely
Interesting.
edged out pancakes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have said like 10 years ago waffles all the way, but
Yeah, there was a point in my life where it was like Belgian waffles, strawberries, and whipped cream for sure.
Yeah.
But,
Total sausage fest, Nev says.
yeah.
Well, goes with
We are
the
talking about
pancakes.
breakfast food, aren't we?
yeah. I still like the sausage biscuit with egg the most. I don't care what anybody says. It might kill me
Yeah.
over time, but it's still my favorite. breakfast.
McGriddles are always a good idea at the time, and then same thing
Yeah, like,
afterwards.
like,
Like, oh,
it's like
why did I
teeth
do
and
that?
fat.
I can feel it in my hips.
Yeah.
Like
I can feel it in
I
my
can still-
bones.
Yeah, it's the same thing
Right
with that just
in my
ridiculous
neck.
that film that sticks on the teeth forever. Wearing sweaters the rest of the
Yeah.
day.
I don't feel like that's the case with the sausage biscuit with egg. That
Nope.
Darth
my favorite.
Skywalker says
Well, you're
French
also
toast
eating egg
wasn't
beaters.
included because
Yeah.
that would have been chosen.
Well, it's also those beautiful biscuits that have like them.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the golden flakiness.
Yeah.
The golden black. Oh,
All right, my last
Look at it,
hoorah.
Jones.
I'm hungry. Let's go to McDonald's after.
Another answer the internet because not pulling the day, not
No,
pulling
no
from
polls.
the same,
Not
not
pulling.
pulling from the same stack. If you trained your son from birth
okay.
to his 21st birthday
I
to
did.
fight a gorilla,
I have.
would he stand a chance?
Nope.
Okay, it's over. All right, ask that question
You've
again.
been training Dylan since he was from birth to his 21st birthday to fight a gorilla, and you don't think
Yes.
he can pull it off?
Became a
In December, he'll be 21, and I've been training him since he was born. I've been in his life since he was 1.
Yeah.
Because he is my stepson. He is my only son. And I've been training him since I came into his life, and he was in diapers. The day I met him, I was like, out of those diapers.
yeah. We will fight.
We will be
a
fighting
silverback gorilla.
gorillas. A silverback.
We have no use for carrying around our own excrement.
Have you ever seen Harambe, that video? It would be similar to that.
Oh my. Yeah.
I love Dylan very much, but listen, silverbacks, man.
Yeah. I'll
Silverback.
drag you around here.
Harambe. For some,
Listen.
it's way too soon.
To be fair, if I had to fight Harambe, it would look the same.
Right. Yeah.
What was
He'd be like, meh, 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 meh,
I mean, it's one thing to die. It's another thing to be beaten to death with your own arm as it was ripped out of your socket.
yeah.
yeah.
No, thanks.
Darth Skywalker says, without weapons, nobody stands a chance. And he's right.
Exactly.
right.
But here's the thing: people refer to gunfights all the time as a fight. So if we're gonna say that he has to fight a gorilla in the general sense of the word, if
Look
he's
at
a
the
good
picture, though.
if
It's
he's a
like
good-
martial
hey,
arts.
Hey, I'm saying if he's a good enough marksman, obviously it's a no brainer. My son would win because this is very hypothetical here because I might have a son out there somewhere. Nobody's ever told me.
I have
that.
a really important
But,
question. Do you think if you went whop and hit him in the nards that it would phase him? Or do you think they can ignore
him
pain
right
like
off.
that?
Yeah, I think it might only just prove to piss him off worse.
Yeah,
So
okay.
actually, it might be a good idea because you might endure a less painful death
Is
because
it-
it'd kill you quicker.
Is it a gorilla or a gorilla?
Yeah, right. Gorilla or gorilla.
Which one are we talking about here?
Yeah, if we're talking about an actual gorilla, and from the looks of things here, your son is Ryu. From the picture here. So if that's the case, well, then I guess I would kind of put my money on Ryu. That guy can kick a car in half. So
Nev says, we'll soon find out. I abandoned my son in a jungle island full of gorillas 20 years ago.
Let's see what happens.
we'll go back. I don't know, let's go check.
Figure this out.
Wait a
gonna figure
minute.
this out.
I'll go check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So, I mean, if I was a smart parent, and I'd like to think I set myself as one, I would be training him in the art of gun kata, and so
Gun kata.
it wouldn't be much of a competition.
Well done, son. You murdered it.
Let's go make a rug out of them.
Or put them on the wall. Thank you very much.
Just pull out a bone.
Yeah, no, if you had to fight with no weapons.
And he's like, Dad, come on, black market all the way. We can make at least 30 grand off this thing.
Maybe find that 5-point pressure thing for his heart and just
A 5-point
You're all,
exploding heart
can
technique.
I talk to you for a minute?
yeah.
He just falls in.
Excuse me, Mr. Silverback. I just
Yeah. I studied under Pai Mei.
ha ha. Let me just pull my beard. I'm 18 or 20.
Now take your 5 steps and
He's all like, "Do I look good?
I'm
Wipe
eating
this
your
off
heart.
real quick. Do I look good? All right, let's go for a walk."
Oh man, that would not go well.
Yeah. No
Nope.
thanks.
That wouldn't work out well.
Love my
because
son, he's amazing,
Pull
he
off
would
the
not survive.
5-point exploding heart technique on the gorilla, but he would beat you to death within those 5 moves.
As he's dying.
You're like,
Actually,
what did you
and
do
he
to
would
me?
break your fingers.
Yeah, then he would die on top of your
Probably
corpse and
break your
strangle you.
fingers or something as you're doing
Fall
it.
on top of you, and
Right.
you would die suffocating.
Suffocated.
You're at least dead.
Got you first.
Yeah.
All right, last question, and then we go to story time.
So this is kind of a similar question to your tall lady and your short man question.
Yeah.
Man, all these complexes keep on being brought up in
Well,
this
it's
game.
because a lot of the times we get stuck in the same role because we skipped over a lot of them. This is a poll as well. Would you rather be the world's tallest man or the world's shortest man?
Well, that was kind of an interesting question. It was almost identical to the other one.
Almost.
Just tallest man or shortest man? World's tallest or shortest? I'd rather be the world's tallest man.
Like you're gonna be 8 feet tall, probably.
I don't care.
Okay.
Either one brings about a certain amount of fame or notoriety
Sure.
in your
And health
short
issues.
life because guess what? Yeah, both don't last very long.
Yeah, health issues
So,
for sure.
Still rather be able to play basketball and beat everybody and be a millionaire than be
Yeah.
somebody who gets stepped on accidentally constantly.
Well, think about it this way.
And have to be
it
in the
also
circus.
depends on your personality a little bit. If you're a hermit,
and cons.
if you're a hermit and a recluse, being the shortest man ever would be perfect because you're always overlooked. Nobody ever sees you. Nobody
crawl
looks
under a
down
rock.
at you. You crawl on a rock. You could hide really easily. You could be a hobbit.
Both
so
can join a freak show.
yeah,
No
exactly.
problem.
But being the tallest person in the room,
Or the
you're going to
NBA.
get comments.
Yeah.
You're going to get noticed.
I don't know
Every
about
room you
that.
walk into, suddenly you're the topic of conversation. So if you're looking more for that fame and notoriety, then definitely the tallest
Tallest basketball
I mean, have you
players.
seen that Chinese guy? He's like the tallest NBA player. He was the Chinese guy. He's
Yao
not.
Ming?
I mean, he's not even nearly as good as like pretty much anyone in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys that are 5'6" in the NBA that are 1,000 times better than him, and they have to hustle.
Well,
way
Manute Bol
'cause
was
he's just like
7'7".
brr.
Well,
Bull was 7'7". He was a scrawny man.
Yeah.
He was a basketball player.
Yao Ming. Yeah, and Yao Ming is good,
Yao
but
Ming
he's
was-
not.
I don't even know if he was
amazing in
7'7".
comparison. He's so ginormous.
Yeah, and he had health issues. His career was super short because of his legs. He couldn't, all that weight landing on his legs. His feet had all sorts of problems.
well, it just goes to
Right.
show you too that height doesn't lend you talent. I mean, look at LeBron James. I mean,
That's my point. I could still be in the NBA and make money,
yeah, I suppose. Or he could be
you don't even have to be a very good player.
and I would be an NBA All-Star like Yao Ming
Yeah.
until I died.
Or he could be mini-me,
Nope, because you get stepped on and live in a hobbit hole.
Or he
No,
lived-
I think it's pretty easy.
around
Even
the
though
Hershey.
from another standpoint, if you're thinking about it in this way, I think a lot more women would probably find you to be the cutest little thing ever and want to put you in their purse if you're a
Right.
little guy. Whereas if you're too tall, it's always a fear factor.
Well, here's the thing. It's
I
kinda,
mean,
it's kinda,
unless your wheelhouse is Brienne of Tarth, you're not going to
This
find
kinda
too many
goes-
women interested in that.
This goes in the same lines. We picked it's harder to be the shortest man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're all picking. We want to be the tallest man.
Yep.
It's the same line of thought, isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
Just goes to show you our line of thinking. What societal standards put on
Guess
you?
what the poll said?
Let me guess. Tallest.
How much?
74%.
You're so close.
was it?
87%.
Oh shoot!
Ah, see?
Most people agreed. 13% lied to themselves. Darth Skywalker says tall than the NBA would help you pay for a livable house for that height.
Right.
Yeah.
Jason USMC, what's up, brother? He says, hey, good
These
to
are
see we're all
probably
still
adjusts.
doing our thing. Darth Mike says tall because you'd be an NBA star, younger, but you would die younger than a short person. Possibly. Young people have medical complications too.
People automatically go to NBA. Why is that stereotype? I mean, there's not a professional
If you were
light bulb
that
changer
tall,
out there. I mean,
but if you were that tall, you could literally not be as good as everybody else and still be good.
still be dunking on people. I get it. I'm just saying it's interesting how we
in
automatically
high
go to
school, we had a
NBA.
guy, we had a kid who was 6'8". He was on the team. He was horrible, but he was still really good because of his physical height. They just put him as a guard, and he was just like, brr,
I'd go
and
to
they
the-
couldn't.
What about
overcome
a
that.
fire inspector? You could reach every
Well, I'd do all
spray
that stuff for
nozzle in
fun.
the sprinkler system. You wouldn't
I
have
would
to get
do
a
all
ladder.
that stuff for fun, and I would totally join the world's famous freak
I'm
show.
just trying to play joking devil's advocate here.
I'd join the world's most famous freak show, so I'd make some serious dough being the biggest, tallest, whatever man in the world.
Might be better on you health-wise, because
Right.
after
So
a
all
while,
you do is sit there.
after a while being
Okay,
that tall,
stand
your
up.
knees would probably
Okay.
give out trying to be an NBA player.
So Nev's having a hard time, you guys. He says if he was tall, he would get to cosplay as a Wookiee, and if he was
All
short,
right.
he'd cosplay as an Ewok.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
It's a
just
tough
not
one.
sure.
Or
He's
Yoda.
having a tough.
Or R2D2.
Yeah.
Yeah, not many of the sports require you to reach 10-foot tall goal. That is why we're talking about the NBA. We're defaulting laziness with our answers here, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely want to
No,
do the
I
freak
get
show.
it. Believe me, I do. I just,
where's
that's
your-
funny.
Did you put yours up there?
I'd throw them away.
Nobody else can think of another use for a tall person other than being a basketball player.
All right.
Talk show.
Shows how narrow-minded we all are.
So we are getting close to story time. I'm going to dial you down just a
right, I'll
little,
just go
little bits. Yeah, you'll just. I do feel a little bit like the guy on Star Wars, and he's on timeout apparently. Volleyball, Kyle. That's a great answer. Okay, so story time comes out of.
Can't spike on that guy.
I was actually just talking to a friend last night. They came over. He's the one that shared that beer with me, and we were chatting. And I told him a story, and he was like, "Oh man, that's a crazy story. I never would have thought in a million years something like that." And I thought, well, that's kind of a weird story. I guess don't think I've ever actually told that story, but kind of an interesting story, and it's kind of funny, I suppose. So a couple of years ago, when I was 37, so this was, within the last 5 years, I was doing the workout Insanity. Do you guys know the Insanity workout? And it's like a super hybrid cardio, workout where basically it's like yoga and cardio, kind of, a high intensity cardio blended. So and yoga's blended into it.
Oh, so
And-
yoga for men.
kind of. But it's called Insanity, and I was doing that for about 6 months, and I loved it. It was actually super awesome. I was in the best shape of my life. At 37, I was just like ripped and in really good shape. And the truth is, if you know my history, I have a lot of injuries to my back, to my neck, to my hips. And so it's really hard to work out. But with Insanity, it's like all body weight exercises. And there's a lot of jumping around, but it's minimal impact. And there's a lot of, like I said, yoga and poses and stretching and things like that. But they get your heart rate real high, and then they make you hold poses. And so you're like burning tons of calories in short periods of time. And so I got in really, 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 really great shape. And I'm like sweating, like literally, no joke, about at least a liter of water during an exercise, but probably like a half a gallon of sweat, just a half a gallon of sweat, but at least a liter of sweat every exercise. I mean, it was amazing. When I started out, I was really bad at it, but after 6 months, I could have been an instructor. In fact, one of my friends that did it, he did become an instructor, and he kept trying to coax me into going to Gold's Gym and become an instructor for it. And I was like, nah, I don't have the time for that. I was, actually just getting into the Star Wars game and YouTube and things like that. And I was like, I got another hobby anyway. So, but I was getting into that. And then I started noticing slowly after time of doing these exercises and stuff and exercising, getting in really good shape or whatever. I started noticing I was getting a little bit lightheaded. Now, take a step back. I am of my blood pressure is of really, 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 really low naturally. Like, so there's like healthy low blood pressure, and then there's like, unhealthy low blood pressure. And my low blood pressure isn't like unhealthy. It's not like, oh, you got to be on medication low, but it's close. It's like 120 over 80 is considered perfect in a perfect world. Mine's like 112 over 72. So it's lower than the perfect model, but it's not low enough that they're like, hey, we got to put you on meds. It's just like, dang, your heart doesn't have to work as hard as other people. And my pulse, even without working out, is like 60 resting. Like I don't do anything, and my heart's just at 60 beats, which, and back then it was at like 48. When I was doing Insanity, like when I'm just standing around, my heart was just like at 48 beats. So, like really wasn't, but right now it's at like 60. So my heart's in really good shape, and my blood pressure is really low naturally. Well, so then I started doing this Insanity, and it got in really good shape. But I started noticing after like 6 months, I started just passing out. Like every time I stood up, I was like passing out. And I was even at work one day, and I'm just like talking to somebody, and then just like I fell, literally hit a bed and like landed on my back, and I'm like waking up, and there's like customers over me, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I passed out at work." And and when you come back to, you're like looking, and you're like, where am I? And I got heads above me and I don't even recognize them at first. And I'm thinking like, how long have I been out? And so then I got worried, I'm like, what's going on with me? Something's not right. And I started feeling like heart palpitations. You could actually feel your heart beating. And at first I went to the doctor and it started out and they were like, well, do you have a teenage daughter? And I was like, yeah, I do. And they're like, oh, it's just stress. That was how they, that was what they said. They were just like, oh, it's just stress. You're just dealing with a teenage daughter. And I was like,
now that's what I call some seriously generalized medicine.
I know. They were like, do you want to talk to a counselor? I'm like, no, man, that's like, it's going good. We're doing fine. I'm not dealing with anything in particular.
He's in denial. Let's get this
I know,
medication.
right? But they literally tried to put me on like anxiety medicine at the time for my daughter. And like, I'm like, but no, we're doing good. We're actually, getting along and things are fine. And he's like, okay, well, it's on you, and it's like, whatever. But I kept pursuing because I was like, it's not right. I can feel my heart and something's not right. So they kept doing stuff and they did a stress test. They did a gas test where they go through your wrist and that hurt like a mofo because they stick a needle, nothing, just a needle straight through your wrist all the way down. It's like an inch through it hurts really bad. They hit nerves and everything. Nothing. They don't find anything. They do this
dull needle with barbs.
Yeah, they take this thing and they do a test where they check your heart and they look for, any kind of anything. And they're checking all of that. They can't figure anything out. And they're like, man, your heart looks great. And this whole process of trying to figure out like what's wrong with my heart. They then put me on this stress test where I have to run up a treadmill. Well, I'd been doing Insanity for 6 months. And so they start cranking up the treadmill and they make you walk. And they're like, when you're on like level 2, you'll be walking. When you're on level 4, you'll be jogging. When you're on your level 6, you'll be running. I was on level 8 and I was jogging. And they're like, you are in phenomenal shape. Like this is like Olympic athletic level. Like you do not have a heart problem. The guy was like, I don't know what you think, but you don't have a heart issue. I don't know what's going on.
Got that taken care of. Why am I passing out?
I'm glad that you're telling me my heart's in perfect shape, but I don't know what's going on. And so for a year, I couldn't work out because they told me you cannot work out. And I'm like concerned because obviously I'm having this issue where I'm at work, literally passing out in front of customers and I have a heart issue and I can't work out. But I'm, getting dizzy all the time. We couldn't figure it out. Well, all of the doctors here were ignorant and ignorant in not a bad way, like just ignorant, like in they didn't know. I'm not trying to be derogatory. But then I talked to a doctor at the VA in
come to
Denver.
Find if you're not describing your symptoms very well, it can really throw them off. So they're like, I don't know how to diagnose you.
Well, no. So I was doing that well, but they had never heard of Insanity. So it was just like foreign to them. Well, anyway, I got a doctor in Denver and I'd been talking to him for months, but he was really digging through my chart and really trying to figure things out. And we were doing a video conference and he goes, okay, he's like, we got to figure this out. And so we're talking on this video conference and he's like, tell me about yourself. Let's not talk about medical stuff anymore. He's like, let's talk about your life. I just want to know about your life. Like how many kids do you have?
Smart doctor.
Yeah. He's like, what do you do for a living? What are your extracurricular activities? Bing, 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 bing. What do you, do for this and that? And then he's like, what have you given up? Because I'd given up Insanity. And so I wasn't even talking about it to him anymore. Cause it had been like, at this point, like a year since I'd done it. And I was like, well, I used to, prior to this, do Insanity. Well, he actively does that. And he was the first doctor I had seen that actively does Insanity. And he knows how insane Insanity is. And so immediately he was like, instantly, he was like, boom, I know your issue. He's like, put the other doctor on. And there was 2 doctors in the room and they came over and he's like, you need to do X, Y, and Z test, do it now. So they like, okay, we need to do we need to get some blood from you and stuff. So they started taking some blood samples and whatever, and come to find out, I'd been working out for those 6 months and I was totally and completely draining my body of all electrolytes, but I was drinking like water during my workouts. And instead of replacing the electrolytes, I was just additionally flushing what little electrolytes I had out with the water. I wasn't actually replacing any. Yeah, well, Powerade is actually better than Gatorade. But anyway, so I was not only losing the electrolytes, but then with the water, I was additionally flushing what was left. And they checked my electrolyte levels and I had virtually no electrolytes in my body at all. And electrolytes regulate blood pressure. And because I had no electrolytes, there was a lack of regulation of blood pressure. And because my blood pressure is so low and I had no regulation, my blood pressure just couldn't regulate. And so I was passing out all the time. He was like, this is super, super easy. But he only knew because he knows Insanity so well. He was like, oh, this is easy. If you're doing Insanity, your electrolytes are shot unless you are. And he's like, the amount you're doing it's on the same level as like Olympians. And so like Olympic training. And so he's like, you definitely need to be drinking things that have electrolytes like every workout. And so he put me on an 8,000 milligram sodium diet. So the funny thing was, I was like, how do I get 8,000 milligrams of sodium in my diet? And he, no joke, he was like, do you know those little KFC bowls?
I love the famous bowls.
He's like, famous bowls. He's like, just go have one of those a day. And he's like, that's like half of what you need for sodium in a day. I was like,
So much sodium in there, you'll need it.
I know. I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And then just take this supplement for like 4,000 milligrams of sodium also. Because the biggest pill he could find was 4,000 milligrams. But then he's like, just eat a KFC bowl every day in addition. And so anyway, I started getting my electrolytes in order. I started drinking the Powerade with, no calories, no sugar, just all the electrolytes. And started getting my electrolytes back in, and all of a sudden my heart felt better. I started feeling better. I was able to start working out again, and everything came back to normal. My heart was better and everything, but it took a doctor to ask the right question to figure out exactly what was going on, and he wasn't ignorant, and that's because he was able to figure things out, and it was because of the previous knowledge of a previous thing that he had. So anyway, the story's kind of funny because, like I said, I was passing out at work in front of customers, and that's just kind of funny in and of itself. Waking
That's
up.
just not very professional.
I know. I'm like, hey, sorry about that. And they're like, hey, no big deal. I suppose I'm going to buy from you because you're pulling this
Do you
whole
want
stunt.
that mattress?
Yeah. Do you want this or not? So I'm going to fall, I'm going
Wake up in the
to
middle
fall
of the
asleep
night.
again.
You probably sold more mattresses that way. It's like, man, if I can make this guy sleep that good just at the drop of a hat,
I know,
want this
right?
bed.
He just falling asleep all the time. Yeah, I should better buy a bed. But I tell the story, I guess, because, well, one, it came up last night and I thought, oh, that's an interesting kind of story, but there's always kind of that moralistic role of the story. And I think the biggest thing is in life, you can know a lot. These other doctors that I had, they knew everything, right? Pretty much. They were experts in the field. In fact, the doctors here were actually, they were more learned, if you will, on learned. That is a word. They're more learned on the heart. They were cardiologists and everything. This particular doctor was a specialist, but he only had 10 years. The other guys had well over 30 years each. So there was like 70 years experience here, and he was 10 years. But because he was younger, he had done something in his life that gave him life experience. That life experience was the key to solving my problem and helping me. And so it wasn't actually the time in, it was just something in his life. It was a life experience thing. So really the thing from this is just understanding that we all come from a place of humility and understanding that it is not necessarily an individual that has 30 years in or 40 years in or is an expert, but that people have life experience and that life experience can teach them a lot, and that people should and can have opinions that come from their life experience, and that we should acknowledge and respect those opinions that come from life experience. And I think that that's kind of funny because that actually ties back into the whole Twitter debacle, because I've had, 4+ years experience in things that come from a community, and I'll never not come from a place of experience. Yeah. And, I feel like it's just a funny thing. It's a weird thing for certain people to discount or discredit the opportunity for me to have an opinion about something that I know so much about. I love the game. I love the community. I always will. But I hope that the community can kind of take a step back and realize how not logical that is to say that now
Just
that
how
somebody's
ridiculous you sound.
Yeah, that just because I stopped playing the game means I can no longer talk about the game or about capital games. By the way, I don't talk about the game. The only time I ever say the only time I've ever said anything negative whatsoever was just about capital games' ridiculousness, and that's something everybody talks about. So I'm just like everybody else. I'm not beating a drum that nobody else is beating. We're all beating the same drum here. So
wisdom is knowledge.
Yep. So I'm just as annoyed as everybody else with that, and I just hope they change, because if they change, I would be willing to come back. Like I've said a million times, it would be nice. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I wish them the best. I hope that somebody changes the guard.
Miracles do happen.
Yeah, I hope somebody changes the guard, and that someone decides to take the reins there and decides, hey, we should change this for the better, and that somebody starts to communicate.
Someone's gonna swallow the hard pill and rebuild.
So you want to do insanity after this?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Outside though.
Let me get some Powerade first.
Call says not professional at all. And then Peeps says, well, great job, social distancing warrior. Well, I appreciate everybody coming on, enjoying this. I hope you enjoyed yourself today. If you're just now catching it, remember it'll be on YouTube. You can go back and watch the whole thing. Make sure you put all of your answers to the questions together at the end. That would be awesome. I want to read all of your answers at the end. That would be fun. And as always, you guys, make sure you have a wonderful time. Artisan K, SureShot, thank you guys for coming on.
Always.
Yep.
Always a pleasure.
And as always, you guys keep your gaming on. Warrior, Artisan K, SureShot, we are out.